It worked.
Would it have?
I think it worked. Yeah, I haven't used this in so long. All the buttons are strange. uh, Hello everyone. Tonight it's just Cyrek and me, and after, well, way too long, at least something's on. I have still quite a headache. It's not as huge as it was yesterday or last week, but it's still there. That's why we're still gonna postpone finishing that dreadful paper. However, I want to fill this up with something in the meantime, and there's so many things happen that are worth ranting about and rambling about. And what did Austin say that I'm actually doing instead of ranting?
Impassioned speeches.
See, that sounds way more sophisticated. And yeah, so we're gonna do that instead, also to get back into the rhythm. Especially since some people promise to take time off on a weekly basis to make room just for this nonsense here. And that means if we do something, you can most likely expect it on Tuesday at around this time. Other than that, random things. Maybe I come up with something after all. Oh yes. Trig wanted me to, or not wanted me to, but some people that I've sent my recording of George Orwell's Notes on Nationalism, which is freely available to read on the George Orwell Foundation's website. I made that for a friend of mine because he didn't have time to read it, but actually needed it for his research. Just had so much other stuff. And there's probably audiobooks out there that are well better read, because I didn't bother cutting out anything, any cuffs or anything. But since some people asked me to put it public after all, because for some reason they like my commentary, I am gonna flip them to public later in the week when I feel confident enough. Generally, I don't like all the background noises in it, but I simply don't have the might yet to clean all of that up. And yeah, I did those in one go, so that would be a lot of work. Call me lazy bones for that. It's all right. But yeah, it's a very important book, especially for our times, and it will help you understand a couple things that are going on much better that Orwell had figured out back in his day. And so much on that. We want to say something on that, Cyrek, before we... Oh, by the way, Cyrek is here. Hello. He's fully caffeinated, as we can see.
The avatar is I myself am drained from work, but I have enough caffeine to get me until bedtime.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. The only thing I gotta say is, yes, make your Notes on Nationalism video public, because I've listened to it and I love the commentary that you have.
Yeah, free wristbands or impassioned speeches for everyone. It's a public good. I'm going full-blown communism with my content.
No.
What? Somebody has to. The communists aren't doing it, so the capitalist has to.
Don't fall to their level, please.
What? No. Let me make some ironic jokes, man.
I am his wheel. My jokes just come off poorly because I'm bad at delivery.
Look, I am not yet brain damaged enough to think like them. I am. My brain is pretty much fried by now, but it's still far away from that. Which makes me wonder how they are able to tie their shoelaces.
They get mommy and daddy.
Well, in the case of some of the people we cover on Smutcast, I can imagine that, since they still live with their mummy and daddies. Mummies and daddies. No, more, yeah, mummy and daddies. If the dad is cucked, probably. Enough of the mean jokes. Bless you. So,
Thank you.
So, why are we here tonight? Well, I have been pestered by several people on the Smutcast Discord, where people suggest videos to me and things to cover that one day I may or may not actually do, with this one thing that bugs me enough to do this stream thing here. And it is about two people, a possible doctor and a certain Matt Walsh that I have never heard of before.
So, to give you some background on Matt Walsh, since you've never heard of him before, he is part of the Daily Wire team. He's part of Ben Shapiro's team. Or, I think he's still on the Daily Wire. But so
how anti-Semitic is he working for a Jew?
Very.
I'm just saying because these people, the socialists, call everyone a Nazi and anti-Semitic, including those working for Jews, and they call Jews anti-Semitic, which is very weird. But yeah, go on.
I've heard that Ben Shapiro is anti-Semitic, but that's a whole other case.
I mean, there are anti-Semitic Jews, but they were usually communists.
But Matt Walsh, he does a few shows for the Daily Wire. He also, I think, has a new series on The Blaze, which is run by oh god, what was his name? Glenn Beck. But he does a lot of political commentary. He makes some good points, and then he also has some really dumb. It's human fault. Everybody has good points and bad points.
Yes, I too make mistakes. I too say dumb things.
Yeah, but he's very concise whenever it comes to debates. For the most part, there are a few debates that I've listened to him have that he stumbles upon himself and gets like sidetracked with a question because his opponent led him off on a whole other tangent.
That's a difficult skill to keep.
But for the most part, he usually stays concise with his arguments.
That's good. Is he trying to talk as fast as Ben and thereby stumbles?
No.
Good.
He speaks at a normal human tone.
Good, because you need some very very specific character traits to do that without stumbling upon yourself, your own words and your own thoughts.
Exactly.
And Ben is the only person. Ben is the only person on YouTube so far that I'm not watching on double speed.
Yeah, I had to listen to him whenever he puts up a video on YouTube or something. Whenever he's the one talking, I put it down to half speed, and then whenever his guest is talking, I put it back up to normal speed.
Oh, that's a fun thing. Provided I'm healthy, I'm in good health, and I'm awake, then I can talk like that too. However, I try not to when I'm around normal people. But when I'm around certain autists that I know can speak at that pace and normally do it without realizing it because they have no self-awareness, then I do speak like that too, and it is much more efficient. I honestly don't understand how normal people get anything said in any amount of time. So when people talk too slowly, for me, too slow, I lose track of what they're saying. Like the sentence falls apart in my head because are you still on that sentence from 10 seconds ago, or is this a new sentence? If people talked faster, I could understand them better. And this is an interesting thing that I bet some autistic children in school are facing in their earlier years, where the teachers think they're dumb and slow because they behave oddly, and then talk even slower, which makes the autist lose attention because this source of information is apparently not giving me any information, so it is worthless. I'm gonna do something else. You have to figure out what kind of autist you're dealing with, and when it's an autist that speaks fast himself, try to speak faster than you normally do, and the autist will actually listen to you, because finally, your sentences can be comprehended as sentences and not just single words that pop up in the room as if you are on Valium about to fall asleep. You have to talk like Ben Shapiro. Okay, Miji in the chat said, Matt Walsh is known as the most traditional conservative on the Daily Wire team, and most of his content for years consisted of commentary videos that he filmed in his car. Okay. We have an idea who he is.
I will say this. Matt does make some good points that I agree with, and like normal people, I disagree with a lot of his other points.
Ooh, like a real person.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's look at after I click this button. Yeah, Xyra can already see it, and because he's in the watch together. But yeah. This.
Hold on, let me get this cat out of my room. I'll be right back.
Oh, come on.
I have my headset on. I'm just gonna be muted.
You're ruining the moment.
I can still hear it and see it. I just gotta open my door, which is 5 feet from me.
I will hate this video so much.
No, you won't.
I won't. I hate this. You know what? You know what? That person on the left. I have seen that person before. At a bus stop on a Google ad here in Germany. And I don't know the slogan anymore, but I drove by in the tram, and right, it was a tram station. But tram stations, bus stations, they're run by the same company here. And I wonder, what is that? Is that a man? Is that a woman? Anyone who knows me knows I'm trans. The actual thing with gender dysphoria and transitioning and everything. I just never could do any voice work still, so I don't take any offense to anyone on the internet calling me calling me he or anything. Why? Because what the hell? What are you supposed to think, really? And so I must not get sidetracked by the chat. I'll go to that later. So when I'm on low mental energy, I seem to get into some low level ADHD mode. I know some people with ADHD, and that seems to only happen when I'm on low mental energy. Anyway, back to the thing. Yeah. So I'm stuck mid-transition, thanks to, in part, SJWs, but also just regular psychopaths who just exploited the situation as they do. There are a lot of psychopaths and other narcissists within the social justice movement that do not actually believe in the tenets and dogma of the social justice movement, but they are just on board because it is useful to them. They are what we in Germany call flags in the wind. They're very ruthless people and very cruel people. But to not get too deep into that right now, this person, this face, I saw with the big hoop earrings and everything, and the beard, I saw on that giant poster at the tram station that I drove by. I thought, like, what the fuck is that? Because that is not a trans person. Anyone with real gender dysphoria would be appalled. Any trans woman would be appalled to have a full beard on. even appalled and disgusted and embarrassed to have beard shadow. That's how you can tell whether you're dealing with an actual trans person. Maybe the person doesn't know better how to apply makeup. Okay, that can be learned. However, beard shadow alone is highly, let's say, disruptive. It's embarrassing. Because when you have gender dysphoria, when you're a biological man who has gender dysphoria, you look in a mirror and you see all these male markers that should be no problem for a normal person. But with gender dysphoria, your subconscious judges your reflection, judges yourself by the visual traits, the visual markers of the other sex. So it's not just that you have this full body phantom limb bullshit, but your subconscious also, because it expects to be dealing with a female body. When it isn't, because it's some people called it hardware-software issue, but that only works for a metaphor. It's a bit more complicated than that. The thing is, you see a beard shadow, or you see a beard. Well, if you have the mind of a woman, and you judge yourself by the beauty standards of women, and that is worldwide the same, and you would see a full beard on you, what woman would think, oh, that looks good?
None.
Yeah.
Simply stating, none.
Yeah. And that's a good point. So this is not a trans woman. This is some attention-seeking grifter, maybe a fetishist. But these people, it's usually just gay men. And for trans men, so biological women, it's the same way the other way around. Just that usually the soft features, as far as I'm aware, aren't that harsh on them. But the male features, they're pretty harsh. Like you can get through life as a rather soft-looking man. But look, the best-looking man will still be an ugly woman. And it doesn't matter what society thinks is pretty, because there are basic biological patterns for that. That's not learned stuff. That is just subconscious, is programmed to recognize certain patterns, and it looks for them, and either it finds them or it doesn't. The socialists live in this magical fantasy world of their blank slate theory, where they think that everything is learned behavior, which includes your interests, and if we're honest, they believe your sexual orientation is also learned behavior and can be molded. That they were on board with the gay movement for a couple decades, supporting them in that homosexuality is not a choice. I think that was just a farce to keep them in line, to keep them trusting the left. Because now, after they exploited and fanfictioned our medical condition, my medical condition, they're just doing away with that. They want to make people, we've seen the videos, we've seen the articles, they want to make homosexual people gay. They want to push them, guilt trip them, lure them into gay sex. And they do that to younger and younger people. And how that is not driving people up the walls, I don't understand. Yeah, Bears, I will say he. Because a trans woman could not stand having a beard. Fuck you. Your clothes, putting on different clothes, does not make you a woman.
No, I can't even tell.
Cross-dressing.
I can't even tell what this person is supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Cross-dressing is not being trans. Cross-dressing is a fetish. A trans woman will eventually wear more feminine clothes because it looks good. But you know, the thing is, with most actual trans people, we tend to have some sort of reflection going on and some basic stylistic choices that are not too outlandish. While all these flamboyant people, these attention seekers, they will dress in the most provocative way possible. They go all the way of the look at me, look at me, look at me. And that is what this beard is for. It's about the look at me. And these fat eyebrows. What the fuck? I mean, maybe this guy even got some hormones from somewhere illegally, because you certainly do not get a proper diagnosis for gender dysphoria acting like that. Accent Zero says the one on the left is non-binary. Well, that fits way more. Non-binary is a complete fabrication of the left on Tumblr and the sociology nonsense people. So there is some good sociology out there, but bloody hell is there a lot of bullshit. Like sociology was the one that came up with the term neurodiversity. Not neurology, not biology, not psychology, no, sociology. It's no wonder people make jokes about sociology not being a real science, because it's so full of bullshit. Bears, did I misspeak like that? Did I say they want to make homosexuals gay? That's a nice Freudian. Thank you. You know what I mean. They want to make heterosexuals gay. Thanks, Bears, for catching that. That was stupid. Before that, what you described sounds like what Quicksilver goes through. His super speed makes everyone seem like they're moving talking at 0.05 speed. Yes. 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 It is like that. It is horrible. It's like the whole world is in slow motion, or a little bit. Well, it's normal. It's normal. It's normal speed for me. But I wonder what other people see. Like, are things just rushing by, non-autists? Or people who are not autists like me, because they're different types of autists. We all have the different combination of bullshit traits and the few good traits that there are. Ferret said the nice thing about TISM speak, in my experience, is that they get that tangents are in fact on topic. Yes, thank you. A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D, but it's all relevant. It's all connected. Yes, and if you let the artist actually finish, even if it takes an hour, the artist will actually get back to A. And I've given you a broader perspective on where he's even coming from, and what exact angle and exact vector and But yeah, the TISM is a topic all of its own. I don't want to start this. Yeah, so we're gonna have this definitely not trans person talk. Oh well, because I didn't finish. Non-binary is not a thing. There is sex is a binary, and the gender thing they made up is fully informed by your biological sex. Just as your chromosomes are. There are anomalies, but those are so rare cases that it honestly doesn't break the rule. And like gender dysphoria, it doesn't break the rule. It's an anomaly. Anomaly doesn't mean it's natural, but it's not normal. And these activists always say, when we say it's not normal because it's anomalous, then they say, oh, you can't say that, that's mean, of course you are normal, you're valid, and blah, de blah. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. It is not normal looking at the statistic. It's an outlier, and it's a dysfunctional outlier. Gender dysphoria produces extreme mental pain, to the point of suicide. That's the bloody problem. If gender was just a construct, I could construct the gender dysphoria away. And bloody hell, believe me, I tried that for most of my youth before anyone even made up this construction nonsense. I wanted this shit gone. I built myself rituals to suppress it and stuff, and it didn't work. It always comes back. And all the other things, like the intersex conditions, those are serious medical conditions. They're not just different different sex developments. No, they're not just different, because it's a new term they're using now. Like, it's George Carlin's impassioned speech all over again about them just making newer, longer words to seem nicer, but it's just diluting everything into incomprehensible trash, because that's what that is. Because the intersex conditions are serious conditions that need treatment in most cases, in almost all cases, because they impact your body negatively, your health, your reproductive ability. They are not normal and they are not healthy. Some are cancerous, for one. Is that clear enough roundabout? Oh yeah, one thing. Sex is sex is scientifically defined by the reproductive tissue that you have. That is not your sex organs, so not the dangly bits between your legs, but instead, do you have tissue that produces sperm? Do you have tissue that produces eggs? And does that actually work? That is the relevant part. And that is why there are no documented cases of hermaphrodites on the scientific level. When kids came out of the womb with both genitals, and usually one is dominant, that was falsely labeled hermaphroditism. I fucking hate English. The actual scientific case where a human being had both a functional sperm production and a functional uterus with ova has not happened. Science would be all over it, and the SJWs would be all over it especially. And since they are not, that is a pretty good proof, I would say, in the one case of where absence of evidence is actual evidence, because we would see them all over it, that case just doesn't exist. So there are no human hermaphrodites. And there is nothing that is non-binary. You can have people with broken chromosomes. In those very cases, you can have someone with a broken Y chromosome, for example. That person will develop a female body and female reproductive organs. Or being immune to androgens. Similar issue. Usually also has fertility issues. But that is stuff, those chromosomal anomalies or mutations are usually only noticed later in life when you get your karyotypes checked for whatever is going on with you. Most of these intersex conditions are never noticed, especially the common ones that don't have much of an effect. So calling all of that differently developed sex or something is just, I find it atrocious. And it is another thing that leads people to not seek medical help when they should. Like when they call people, when they call people asexual and that being a normal thing. That is not no health issue. Of course it's a health issue. We know that in almost 100% of cases of asexuality, if we dig around, we find some physiological issue that is causing the low-level libido. Because it's not that there is no libido at all, it's just very low. So asexual is already the wrong term. It's not a complete lack of sexual drive. Instead, what we find is anomalous hormone levels that can be treated, and we can look, why are the hormones out of whack? Why do you have low, for example, men who claim to be asexual? Why do you have such low testosterone? Okay, let's check that out. Is it something in your diet? Is some other organ messing up? Or do you have a low libido because you're depressed? That can happen. It can happen as a symptom of PTSD, as a permanent symptom. It can be some other organ damage. Like, imagine your thyroid is not producing enough TSH. You get depressive symptoms from that, and as a result, as a follow-up of that, your libido also shrinks. And then someone just tells you, "Oh, you're just asexual. It's all right. That's fine. Oh, you just have a low phase. It's all right. You'll get better. Just do some things." No, you should get your blood work done, for fuck's sake. And if you find out, oh, it's hypothyroidism, you get to the doctor, you get pills prescribed. And that's not psychiatry stuff, that's just the hormones that you're lacking. And that's not sex hormones, that's basic hormones to get your system running. It's all these things. And these socialists, they are driving all of these medical problems. Relevant, severe medical problems, some of them life-threatening. They're driving everyone to just accept them as, oh, this is normal, I don't need to treat this. And I'd say that is a crime against humanity.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Hello, Cyrek.
Hello.
This is the Wisp show that you all forced me to make.
We didn't force you to. We suggested it.
Oh yeah, you just kept guilt tripping me for a year. Well, if I include Undoomed, it's 2 years.
See, he's the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's the catalyst.
Yeah. Just blame the faceless man who can't speak because he has no mouth.
But he does a lot of talking.
I have permission to use that, by the way. Okay. You know, I'm just stalling for time here. This is not actual Whisperheads. I'm just stalling for time to not push play on this whatever it is. Okay. I don't wanna.
I'll do it.
Look at those grins. They look like soy jacks.
Yeah. That's like
the dude in the background. He looks like the literal nice guy. This is the nice guy smile.
I think that's supposed to be like it's so hard to tell with these people exactly what they are, because I think that's
on purpose.
I think that one is female to male.
That's supposed to be trans man.
I could be totally
why
wrong.
if you go trans man, why would you shave your beard into a neck beard? But take so much effort for your hair. But then your beard is just this ugly fuzz under your chin. Like what? What? These people pretend to have fashion sense, but there's no aesthetic.
Okay, Axton did confirm. Background dude is female to male. Yeah.
Shave. Or grow it out, but not. This is the worst kind of beard in the world. Fucking hell. Hit play because I can't. I can't bring myself to it.
Addison. And I'm
Ethan.
Oh god, those voices.
For about
5 years.
And
married for 3 years.
No, go back.
That,
no, you don't. Fuck off. I want to see that.
I'm Addison.
And I'm Ethan.
We've been together for about
5.
Okay, he looks better here, but the beard is still shit. But what the hell is that scraggly beard crap on the one on the left? And then you put on lipstick with the lip liner on the outskirts, but you have this used broom from some hobo hospital on your face. What is wrong with you people? You just find this funny, don't you? It's just all a big act for you. It's just a big joke that's funny. Because you want people to get enraged. I know, I've seen histrionic people that have admitted to doing this and to going onto the wrong into the wrong bathroom on purpose because they want to stir up something, because they want people to be confused and outraged. They like those reactions. And I have a feeling you're doing that same thing here. Bear says this is just heterosexuality with extra steps. Yeah, that sounds about right. So is there one on the left biologically a dude or not?
I don't know a lot on the background of these people. I've only heard them talk, and then Matt Walsh asked them to define what a woman was.
Spoilers.
And neither of them.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They don't know who they are themselves, apparently. So I would get if the one on the left is biologically a man, that's definitely on hormones. But then why the hell don't you shave your beard? You don't have gender dysphoria. You had some activist doctor prescribing you stuff that you shouldn't get, which means someone deliberately wrote a misdiagnosis. But hey, at least you won't reproduce. At least you won't fuck up a child. Hopefully. I hope at least one of you is infertile at this point.
Ugh. 5 years. 3 years.
I use they, them pronouns.
What does that even mean?
They and them is plural?
It is plural. It is plural. This whole bullshit about those being singular pronouns is just simply wrong. It's a lie. And the more the SJWs are pushing this crap, I am reading texts all over the internet where people are unable to use grammar. It's not just these pronouns. The singular and plural in sentences is falling apart as I'm reading English on the internet, as I'm reading even fan subs of manga or subtitles. It's creeping in everywhere. The English-speaking world is forgetting to speak English because of this crap. If you want to be referred to in plural, that means you want to be treated like royalty. We call royalty in plural. Technically, when you use you towards people, so this is the special thing in English that you have that you have you in the singular and the plural. But in German, we make a distinction, and to third parties, we refer in plural, like someone of higher station, someone who's not close to us. This is a form of respect. We refer to someone, like when I talk to a clerk or to a doctor, or to someone, to an adult, not a child. Children are referred to in singular, in du, but adults are referred to as sie. It's not the female singular sie, that's the plural they, sie. The sie that means they. And but we use that in direct speech. In direct speech, we use the plural to refer to someone. Like, können Sie mir das Formular reichen? Can you hand me over the form or the paper? While if I talk about someone else in the third person, then I use the singular, and that is he or she. In this one's case, that would be it. Because, well, this person doesn't want he or she, so what's left is it. And sane people are not going to use the bullshit pronouns that they make up. And there's a thing in German that you don't really notice in English anymore, but I think it was there at some point. I, however, would have to dig that up. Is that in German we refer to children as it. A child is das Kind, not der or die, but das Kind. That is because it refers to basically everything that is small and cute is an it. Because every diminutive in German is an it. That's why children are it, because that's not dehumanizing. That's just, oh, look, a cute thing. A child, it's cute. And it's not a man or a woman yet, it's a child. It's a boy or a girl, yes, but it's not a man or a woman. It's a child. And if these English-speaking people wouldn't renounce the roots of their language so much, you would have an easier time debunking all their crap. Like this day stuff came up in the 17th century. It's not even that old. Some paper used it, some newspaper used it, and was criticized for it as, politely speaking, that it is at the very least bad style. And it fell out of fashion very quickly, before it even caught on much. But then the socialists found it, and they're pushing it now really, really hard. And they justify this, oh, someone somewhere 300 years ago used it once, that's why it's justified. No, it's actually not. By the same logic, you can justify any bullshit and any atrocity, because someone at some point in history will have done it already.
And God. Also, the they-them thing irritates me to no end, especially for how much I've done and studied in literature to ensure that my grammar is proper.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about language is, as language evolves, it becomes clearer. It becomes more profound. It becomes more distinct. Because as language evolves, it seeks to be more precise. Because we want to make sure that people understand what we're saying. However, the socialists always use the fact that language does evolve, does change, naturally, organically, as justification to engineer language. That because language changes, naturally, that they are justified in changing language deliberately. But thereby they are always breaking it. The whole newspeak is a product of that train of thought, of that idea. Their language engineering is counter the natural evolution of language. There are, like, technically with these new pronouns or new pronoun use, we are dealing with neologisms, and there are basic rules to neologisms, like the creation of new words, and that is that the word doesn't exist yet, because if it already exists, you're just adding a new definition. In this case, that rule is already violated, because here existing words are reused for some other purpose to mean something else that they didn't mean before, which makes it more confusing. So, rule 1 already violated. Secondly, the words have to be needed, and they don't in this case either, because this is not even a medical condition. This whole non-binary crap is a product of pseudoscience, fan fiction about a medical condition that they exploit in order to garner attention for themselves, because these people are the most boring people you could ever imagine. There is nothing of interest to them, so they make up all this crap and start just acting as if on a stage. It's just costumes to them. And that's the ideology essentially states that. Because in this whole gender crap, they're just throwing in personality, your interests and all of that. But that's not gender, that's just your personality. Bloody hell. Third rule of neologisms. And if I missed anything, please correct me in the comments. Society has to naturally accept it and use it, which means there has to be a need for it. I think that was the last one, but it also has it's not just that there has to be a need for it, it has to be precise. So it doesn't exist, the word doesn't exist yet. It has to be needed, so it's describing something new, and society has to accept it. The last time I dealt with neologisms was in my school days. So cut me some slack and correct me in the comment section, please. None of these rules apply here. Neither are these words new, and the new words they make up are also not accepted. Neither are they new, neither are they needed, nor are they accepted. It's like the Latinx thing. Yes, the Latinx has not existed as a word, okay? But nobody needs it, except the ideologues, because they want to make everything the same grey goo. And it's rejected. Yes?
Have you seen the new X name?
What have they made now?
Italian X.
What? That's unpronounceable.
Yep.
Okay, wait, okay. If any Hispanic, Latin, whatever people are listening, or of any other culture group and language they are attacking with this crap, and they've been doing it to German for decades now. You're just seeing the first outcrops in your languages. Call him what it feels like to you, a racial slur. Because it is the most invalidating thing to your culture that there can be. And the socialist activists, they're always crying about, oh, America is a cultural imperialist and just destroys other cultures. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing with this X shit. With this Latinx shit. Like, I'm sorry, that is a racial slur, because the people don't want to be called that. What was that, over 97%?
It was closer to 98, but yeah.
Yeah, great. Be harsh with these people. They won't stop. Just 2 or 3 people telling them to shut the fuck up will not shut them the fuck up. They will keep doing it, and then once they get a hold of your children in university, they will tell your children that they have to accept this, that this is the better way, and this is much better, and your parents are shit anyways. And then, 10 years later, it's not being 98% against it, it'll be 93. Then it'll be 89, then it'll be 79, then it'll be 60. And before long, you have changed your language. Because that's how they do it. They always just brainwash the children and the young people. I'm getting hung up on this shit. Already, we're 8 seconds in.
But yes, I have several friends who I've had this discussion with, and all of them hate the term Latinx or Latinx or however you pronounce it. They're just they either say call us Latin or Latino.
Mm-hmm.
That Latino, whenever it's referring to a group of people, is gender neutral already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not to them, because the grammatical sexus is called male. That's why the masculinum. That's why we have to change it, because men bad.
No, keep it the same. Don't destroy other people's cultures. Don't destroy their languages. Please stop.
Yeah, in Freiburg, South German city, the mayor has officially changed the name of some office, I forgot which one of the higher ones, into when looking for new jobs for that position, into the generic femininum. So it's now because with the justification that people are annoyed by all these weird symbols we're putting into our words now to be all-inclusive. Like, we have asterisks and slashes and dashes in the center of our words, and capital letters in the center of our words, to allegedly appease the inclusivity. It's unreadable. You see these texts, it's unreadable. And so he decided to just make that just a feminine form. And says to that, it's meant for everyone to feel included when we use the feminine form. Like, that's just what we had before with the masculine form. That's what was including everyone. And the thing is that the masculine form never was, it's more or less a misnomer, just referring to men in professions, especially in professions. Because that's actually a neutral form. There's some linguistic history you need to know for that, but it's actually a neutral form. But hey, SJWs don't care about that.
Nope.
They just care about what is most obvious to be used for their goals. And it is driving everyone up the walls. People are rejecting of this through the decades. But they keep on pushing. They keep on pushing to the point where we have this in the fucking federal parliament. Where we now have, when your company is writing job applications, like you hang a thing into the window and then it says whether you're hiring males, females, or both.
Yes.
Yeah, we now have three things. It's now translated into English. M, it's not just M and F, it's MFD. We have a third sex now, apparently. And companies are forced by law to do that, or they may get fined. The D stands for diverse. So we now have male, female, and diverse. In German, the word divers, is a negative word, by the way. It's like, some diverse people complained. Diverse Menschen haben sich beschwert. That means some random hobos on the corridor of City Hall. Like, nobody gives a shit. That's what diverse meant in Germany just 10 years ago. And I call this crap male-female degenerate, male-female demented, male-female dumb. And I can go on for now. If I open up the German thesaurus, I have even more words to use for that. Because I certainly don't see myself as this D. And there were studies done, or at least I think just looked through the data. And in the year it was introduced, I think that was 2019, nobody actually took an application on that D. So it's made for no one. Just for some weirdos with rainbow hair in Berlin. And this is pushed onto a society that rejects it, and we are unable to do anything against it politically. On our parliament building, it reads "Alle Macht geht vom Volke aus," which means all the power comes from the people. I don't see our people having any power in regards to policy and politics. I don't see it. Because there's this minority of crazy people in parliament that keep pushing the most atrocious policies on a majority, on an overwhelming majority of society that rejects it. That is not democracy. That is a farce. We're still on 8 seconds?
Yes.
Let's get it on. Let's get on with it.
Being non-binary just means that I just don't identify exclusively.
So this is, oh god. So this, first off, this is a gay voice. And this is why I want professional voice training for my transition. Because I don't want to have the gay voice. And I know there are trans women out there who just started talking nasally, like they had taken too much cocaine. And I'm sorry, no, that's not a female voice. That's a gay voice. And no, go away. And what is this with presenting your armpit hair, you disgusting hag? What is wrong with you people and obsessing with armpit hair? It takes me 3 seconds in the shower to shave that off. I'm serious. What the hell's your problem? You stinking people. Like, this is no effort. Legs are an effort, but armpits? And they see this. These people see this as some sort of liberation to not shave their armpits. Dude, then stop brushing your teeth and subjecting yourself to this dentistriarchy or something. Same logic. Bloody hell. I don't believe that this is in any way a trans person. This is just some gay fetishist who wants to do outrageous things to be noticed. Who lives for the outrage. And probably after this thing we're gonna see, if we ever get to it, we'll then be playing victim, like I was hurt so much by this horrible man not blindly accepting what I'm saying when I'm not even saying anything. Tell me I'm guessing right. Because this shit is so predictable. It's so predictable at this point. These people act like the worst. Hello, Sarah. These people act like the worst tyrants that berate everyone. But the moment you tell them no, just a simple no, or just don't actively accept everything, but even if you have just a question, a legitimate question of, wait, how do you mean that? Can you explain that to me? Because I can't follow. I don't understand. Can you put this in different words for me, etc. Like a simple question of comprehension. And that already is too much for these people to explain to you, to explain what the fuck is going on, what the fuck they even want of you, and they take that as an attack. They don't actually have anything in their heads. And that then leads to them attacking you for daring to not blindly accept their magical stuff that they can't even explain. This is prime narcissistic behavior. This is narcissistic personality disorder, in this case with some histrionics on top. And this is this whole movement, this whole rainbow movement. And it's why so many homosexuals and trans people reject it and do not show up at those rainbow parades. The normal ones of us, you will not find there.
Oh, the fucking pride parades where people bring out their kinks publicly?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I'd love to see it.
There's a Watch Together link in the
Steve's already in.
Okay, great. Hello, Sada, what do you think of this picture?
Picture you posted in the thing?
No, we're in the Watch Together on second 15. We made it to second 15.
Second 15. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's okay. You either go female or male. I mean, I hate it. I hate it when they grow beards, but they look like a woman.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Like, they just commit. I don't know.
I mean, if you take so much effort for all this makeup and the hair.
I mean, there's men wearing makeup, and I think that looks good sometimes. But like, the full.
There are some classy goths, yes. And the metal.
Like I don't even mind it, but like.
It depends on what kind of makeup we're talking about. There's good male makeup.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the issue.
I even mean like feminine, like men wearing feminine makeups, but like this with the long hair, where they. I just don't like the the dissonance. It kind of weirds me out, I suppose.
Yeah.
With the dissonance of the full beard, but I mean, if they shaved it, they could pass. And sort of that disconnect.
If you shaved it, you could put foundation over it and you wouldn't even see the beard shadow.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this must be hell to put makeup over. I mean, I remember when I had one, most of mine is lasered off. I just missed the last few sessions. I'm still, because of the PTSD shit, I can't take pain anymore. And I'm still plucking those out. Every few days. I had to take a pincer and I pluck all those leftover hairs out. It's about 50 to 200, depending on how long I take between intervals. And yes, that also hurts. But the laser sessions, it's like the first ones were okay. When I got the PTSD, it's just there's barely anything left to do, but it's I can't take it. And also because after I tried a session, I did try it with this, and afterwards the doctor who did it, who operated the laser, like my pain had transferred over to him. He looked like he was really really hurt and broken. Like that man had empathy.
Yeah.
And I had real trouble to fend off a breakdown because intense pain apparently can also cause one. Yeah, so I still have some hair left on my face. It's annoying. It's mainly around the upper lip. Because that's the hardest to get rid of. But I'm plucking that out every few days, and every morning I check is there something, and bloop, bloop, bloop. And if you want to know what that feels like,
I pluck my eyebrows. I know what it feels like.
They do grow back. No worries. That's the main problem because I would need to if I just needed to pluck it out. I once plucked it out before the laser shit. I plucked out my entire beard because I was sick of shaving it, and man, I didn't even notice how much I was shaking by the end.
You know, you can get like a dermablade, which is like a small razor, and just every morning you just kind of scrape it off.
Yeah.
I do that with all my eyebrows now because I don't want to weep every time I have to do them. And my eyebrows are very, very bushy. They grow up into my hairline, so it's a lot of work.
Wow.
Well, my hairline is really low on my face, so
okay.
Like the actual distance, it's like a 2-finger distance between the tip of my eyebrow and my actual hairline.
What the fuck?
So, I have a very tiny forehead and a lot of hair.
Okay. Interesting.
Now you know.
But
everyone needs to know.
But the eyebrows, that's not as painful because I do that too. But that's not as painful as on your upper lip.
Nah.
Definitely. If you want to make a man cry, pull out a beard hair right under the nose. There's an instant reflex of tears coming out.
Oh yeah. Make me cry. Have you ever tried to pluck a hair on like your shin, and that's somehow?
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
There was a hair in my shin, and I tried to pluck it out, but apparently, when you try to pluck things on like bone, where it's just skin and bone, like your shin, it's painful.
Oh, your chin or your shin?
Shin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's an extra sensitive spot anyway.
Oh, your shin is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I don't know. I just had something.
Because bones don't want to be don't want to get impacted on at all, so it's more sensitive.
That's fair.
There's a I shouldn't.
What are you gonna?
We can talk about plucking out hairs at another time. We want to gross out everyone who's watching.
Was Wisps the one redirecting me?
Well, I'm so disgusted with the image that I actually had to click onto another tab.
Okay, just.
They're doing one last comment. Is they're doing the thing where they're showing the armpit hair, and like they're proud of it or something. And like I don't care about armpit hair. Have your armpit hair, but like this. Oh my god, I'm so proud to have my armpit hair is fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask you about that, by the way. Like it's this. Oh yeah, I have this natural function of my body that I have to do nothing about for it to happen. Look. Congratulations. Do you want me to clap for you taking a dump too, like you were 2 years old or something?
Yeah, I mean, I get where it comes from. I still think it's dumb because it comes from like as when you get called dirty and unhygienic for not having your shaved armpits, even if you're, they're clean, and men have it, but because you're a woman, you're supposed to have it. But what?
How long does it take you to shave your armpits?
Not that long. That's not the point.
In Germany, men shave their armpits.
Do they?
Yes. And not because women demand it, but just because we don't like the smell and the sweat and everything. We like to be clean. It's even to the point that during the fall of Rome in Britain, the barbarians were described as having shaven every part of their bodies except the hair on their heads.
Oh, interesting. Get up.
So it seems to be an older tradition somehow.
Oh, well, women actually do get made fun of and shamed in America for not having their armpits shaved, and they'll have men get grossed out as if they're unclean. And so it is sort of, it's a fuck you statement.
Yeah, I think it's.
But I still think it's it's just childish.
Yeah,
and I'm
the thing is, it's coming over here because everybody, the cultural stuff from America is just copied here when it doesn't even apply to here.
Mm-hmm.
That is what's annoying me so. And this is just taken as the armpit hair is some feminist statement of independence. Like, yeah, okay, if you find someone who's fine with you with hairy armpits, okay, it's good for you. But it's just it's a thing about cleanliness, not about you must be more feminine.
Oh yeah, they take it more a cleanliness thing too. Which I mean, armpit hair isn't that. I mean, if you wash your body, it's not dirty.
Yeah, and that's also the shaven body is a way to prevent lice from getting lice.
Ah, okay. That's it. That makes sense as an association.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the root of it.
Yeah, and I think since you have the hair shaven off, if you have the hair on, all the sweat accumulates on the hair of your armpit, and so it stings more and longer and more intense. And technically, there is a point to the stench of your armpits. It transmits information about the composition of your immune system somehow, and that is, when you say about people trying to hook up and whether they can smell each other or they just can't smell each other.
Yeah, no, that is a thing.
That's the biological basis for that.
They did some silly tests about like a couple of dudes and like their sweaty shirts, seeing what women thought of them, and some women thought that it smelled like nothing or even somewhat attractive to like absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and the disgusting reaction is usually when the immune systems are very much alike.
Yeah, it's like a way of telling. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, because then the genome even or something. It's a long time that I
the closest thing to human pheromones.
Yes, in a way, yes. Yeah, but it shows it tells each other information of, well, if we had offspring, would it be healthy or would it be inbred mutants?
Except not in Alabama.
Yeah, well,
they don't got no noses.
Well, that's your local culture. We have to respect that. All cultures are beautiful.
Oh my god, I love that. We gotta respect their sister fucking ways.
Yeah. And as you can see, Sada, we are in 15 seconds.
I can't wait for the next 15 seconds to pass in 3 hours.
Why do I have to be so autistic? I can't stop. I can't stop. I really can't. I can try. I can pull myself together. Some, but it doesn't hold for long. And
I just
when
let it run for a
when I'm in
minute.
better health, it works better. Seriously, I can operate like an almost normal human being. That people don't even believe me that I'm a bloody autistic.
When you're actually able to have tools to cope, you actually can cope. That's pretty crazy. I'm in that same situation right now.
Yeah, well, the problem is that due to this PTSD crap, my mind is just on 99% resource allocation to that.
Oh.
So I'm just operating on this very, very thin margin of stress. That's why I'm
Super
also
autismo mode? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, it's even worse. But right now it's okay. Right now it's okay. But it's also why my fuse is so short now. Like it was almost infinite before this crap. Now
Oh,
it's so short that I start shouting on the internet. And thanks to all of you, I'm actually using that for some public entertainment.
Hey. Some point for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As long as somebody laughs, that's good.
We're all laughing.
With being a man or something in between.
Gender is over. Like, you made that term up not half a century ago. You made it up just to get rid of it.
Is Phil gonna send him to the ranch?
And this is what I mean.
Send him to the ranch.
If this whole sex, because they're not just saying sex doesn't exist, they also say they now also say sex doesn't exist. Before they said gender doesn't exist, now they also add that sex doesn't exist, biological sex. They want to get rid of it all. And that is why we, the people with actual gender dysphoria, that they base all of this bullshit on, are now in the way. Because our condition is proof for the sex binary. Because we go from A to B, or at least as much as technology allows, which is not a lot. We still have problems. A lot of problems. Like, we can't get children. That's like shit. Because lots of women want children. Lots of men want children. And yeah, having your own biological children is a very special thing. And most people have that drive. I can understand why narcissists wouldn't have that, because they don't even have any empathy. A kid would just be a pet for them.
They have the drive because they want a pet.
Yeah, but that's why many of them end up as crazy cat ladies. Or the psychopaths among them, even worse. Like they don't care about children at all. I understand why they don't get any, but that's all better anyway. Michi says eating dinner while watching this video was a mistake. Yes. I apologize.
What? Are you a dude or a chick? I mean, that's pretty standard talk for us girlies.
No, I think he means the guy on the screen.
Oh, that's fair.
I will just project on that.
No.
It's just so atrocious.
Outside of
It's just a gay voice.
My pronouns are here.
What? What is that?
What?
It's just
What?
a game.
What is that? I find this funny when we all want to click the bloody pause button at the same time. I think you can use the cursor buttons. Non-binary people have always been around. No! You made this up 10 years ago! You made this up 10 years ago! And you pushed it on Tumblr via the crazy, insane, clinically insane borderline girls that made up all their many 108 genders, their astral gender and their swamp gender, bog gender, and this is why the attack helicopter meme came on, because that's exactly what those genders are.
Mm-hmm.
Swamp gender, for fuck's sake. Tree gender. Yes, of course, attack helicopter gender.
Don't forget about catkin.
Isn't that
That's
already
just
some
furry.
otherkin crap?
No, that's just furry. What the fuck?
Yeah,
No.
The
There
otherkin are the
people
same
saying
thing.
that being a cat is a gender.
Cat is a gender?
Yeah.
There was some a teacher that got fired because of that, right? Because she didn't acknowledge the kid.
As a cat gender?
Parents, you need to rise up and clean out those schools. I don't have a better. I want to use a not less inflammatory word for that. But bloody hell, it's late. And I'm tired. But you need to get rid of those principles that decree this bullshit. You need to get rid of the politicians in the education ministries. You, parents, in America and everywhere else, you have to get into politics. You have to get into middle management. You have to get employed by those schools so that those ideologues lose their power. Because that is how they got the power. And as long as you do not do that too, they will keep that power over your children. It is up to you. That is the front where that battle is fought.
Worry, they're not going to have any teachers anymore because they're all fucking quitting and getting COVID. So that's probably going to sort itself.
Yeah, that's another issue.
No, yeah.
So what was this here? We can't actually find it. Damn.
Oh, I did read the thing Sarek posted. Italianics representation.
Yeah,
literally has me bleeding.
Alright, I tried this with German and wanted to call it Germixen. Because the man in German was offensive to them.
They also tried it with women and men, where it was mixen and wimixen.
I know, right?
I just want to hurt people at this point.
It's man is derived from human before male, and like no one who actually understands language, but
yes,
you know,
yes, it's already all encompassing. Like it's actually that men don't have their own word.
Yeah, that's what it is.
If we're really honest about it, men don't have their own word, but women have their own word. Isn't it wonderful?
Well, man, damn.
Okay, that's...
To me, being a non-binary means...
No. I want to have this...
Being a man or...
This here. This is what I mean. Gender is over.
It's all performative.
It's bullshit. Yeah, what they do is performative. What I do is not performative.
Yeah.
That's the difference between these people. That's why these people only identify. That's their language. This is this newspeak trick. They just identify themselves. Like it's an outer layer. It's like you're working in a theater as an actor, and then you put on a role. You put on a costume, and then you play that role, and you can interchange that role. And I've said this 3 years ago, for fuck's sake, even further, but I had a longer conversation 3 years ago about exactly this. And what we do is we just are. That's why I keep telling people, stop identifying and start being. Because as long as you just identify, you're just on the surface level. You're not yourself. And I think these people, because what as much as I know about narcissism, is that narcissists hate actually looking at themselves. Because all they are is this God persona that is perfect and wonderful and can't do anything wrong ever. That's why they can't deal with anyone telling them no, telling them you're wrong. And because when they're reminded that they're not correct, that they're not perfect, then that God persona crumbles. Because the actual really personality, the God persona fills out all the space where their personality should be. But all they ever developed was like this maybe 5-year-old child. That's why they're emotionally stunted in their development. And this God persona is there to protect this incapable, in a way innocent toddler, if you will. And there are some rare ways that probably will take another 20, 30 years until we can get stable results on how to get rid of that God persona in a narcissist. But what then happens is that there is nothing but the vulnerable little child. And that's usually in your 20s, 30s especially, it's too late to develop an actual personality. But they are at least not these attention-seeking, malicious, manipulative bastards anymore. However, this all means all these people can do is perform, because there is no real self. Or the real self is so minute, so tiny that it's buried under all this glamour, all this fake nonsense, all this Christmas tree decoration, tinsel lightings. Oh, we have bots.
We have bots joining the chat?
Yeah.
Bots are in the chat.
Yeah. I can make people moderators. Okay, remove this.
They're talking about hot singles in your area, because I really need a couple.
No, they're just making these random noises. I will make...
Oh, you mean this noise?
Add a moderator. Cyril, you're a moderator now. Alright. Every second something to rant. Sada?
Oh, I was. Can you hear this?
No.
Okay, good. I'm drawing on my tablet.
Okay.
But thing is, these people obviously haven't read John Money, because
Oh, John Money is taught at socialist universities. At universities that have all the social justice crap on them, this gender studies crap. But they do not teach the conclusion of his experiment. They teach it as a success. They do not. They omit from the students that the Reimer twins committed suicide.
both of them, yes. But the whole gender sex thing, they would have they don't learn that gender was just a nice way of saying sex.
That was before the Money and some people before him redefined the term.
Wasn't John Money's experience back in the 50s? Because the term gender came about in 1955.
Yeah, I thought there was someone before him working on that as well. I have to look that up. Some guy called Stosser. Well, that's something to dig into at some point. Like John Money is the relevant point of enlightening people about this atrocious nonsense. Because he was a child abuser, and he was a sexual child abuser.
Oh yeah. Wild people even pretend he was anything else.
Ooh. Did the video just move? Don't do that. Ah, no. This one. Yeah. There we go. Why did that happen? Alright. Let's go on here.
Woman. I'm something in between, outside of that binary.
My pronouns are here.
What? How does this even make sense?
I don't understand that he, they.
I don't.
It's they.
Yeah, so are you a guy or not? Like I don't even understand how this first pronoun, second pronoun, how that even works. Because these people say like she, her, or he, him, which is the normal pronoun and then the possessive pronoun. But here it's now the normal pronoun and the normal pronoun? Because it's not they, them, or they, their. It's he, they. What is the rule here anyway?
Singular, plural.
Not him isn't.
But he, him is not singular, plural.
It's.
No. He, they, singular, plural.
Yeah, but in every other case they say he, him, or she, they, or they, them. That is not singular, plural. That is normal and possessive. I think it's possessive.
Him isn't possessive. That's his is possessive.
Yeah, you're right. What is him then?
It's usually he is in the first part of the sentence, him is in the second part of the sentence. That's usually what it is, isn't it?
No. It's like giving the item to him.
And he received the item.
Yes.
I think is it act upon? Okay, now.
Passive possessive?
Hold on, I gotta look this up now. I was so good at grammar, and I'm like, I think it's just it's in either the first part of the sentence or the last part of the sentence.
That doesn't sound right. Underscore in the chat says subject object.
Subject object, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's not that's another issue about sentences. It's not what the word classification is.
Oh yeah, because
subject object is sentence structure.
Yeah, sentence structure, because subject is in the first part of the sentence, object is in the second, which is the verb.
Exhumed legume says him is accusative or dative, the object of the sentence. Interesting. There would be a remnant showing that English still has dative and accusative.
Well, English is Germanic, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was only aware that the genitive is still noticeable due to your apostrophe s.
Conjunctions.
Not conjunctions.
Oh, possessive s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is where you can still see genitive in English. But overall, because we're talking casus here, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. They have no other bearing in your language because you're not changing any suffixes of any words. No, you're not changing any endings of any words. Well, German does that, Spanish does that, Russian does that, but English doesn't. But you can still see these remnants of the continental grammar, if you will. I would like to talk with a linguist that's not an SJW at some point about all these things.
The linguists are fun, and that don't, not the her story linguists. It's not his story. I like to do her story.
Oh, fuck off. I'm serious. This whole language game is nothing but feminist masturbation.
It really is. It's just that, I guess words don't mean things anymore. Okay. Yeah. It's
feminist narcissism. Everything has to be about me. Stop looking at the men. These words are not about men. They are about everyone. But it says that I see the letters. I see the pattern. The number 23 is everywhere. It's on the same level as that shit.
Here we go. You'll probably need this image. Oh, I don't need it twice. Come on. Post. Yes.
You have posted something?
Yeah, in our chat. It made me think of...
the birds' rights activist. I feel uncomfortable when we are not about me? Question mark?
Exactly.
That's great. That's great. I'm sorry I'm not yet putting stuff up. That's too fidgety. I'm just happy the thing is running right now.
What the fuck did you Oh no, it's Bear posted it, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Bears posted it. But let's not keep the people actually watching this nonsense out of context and return to the video. We might even make a minute.
Yes, you don't want to see what he posted.
I've seen what he posted.
What'd you add?
Concentration. It's enough that one artist is derailing everything.
Hey. For a second, I forgot we were watching a video. I thought we were watching a bad cowboy cover.
Some gay cowboy?
Some gay
who
cowboy
doesn't
cover,
know
yeah.
whether he's a man?
He knows. Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, God.
As a non-binary, to me, being a non-binary means having the sense of freedom to explore my gender.
Okay, that is a trans man with those scars. This other thing.
Between outside of that binary.
Okay, I thought those nipples were kind of weird.
I also identify as a non-binary. To me, being a non-binary.
So that voice, you need to work on that. You need to take more testosterone, because when you take testosterone, your voice goes down. It shouldn't be this flimsy stuff. Like there is more. That voice is deeper than a woman's would be. But there's some depth missing. But I don't know. I don't know enough about female to male transitions. But I've met some, and they sound like real men. This doesn't sound like a real man.
They sound like my friend who was.
You can say he. He said he is okay.
Oh, he said he was okay. My friend is gender fluid, except she's on testosterone, and she will wear a corset some days, and then she will not shave her beard. I just call her she because she was fine with that. But like, she had the same type of voice as that, where it's low, but it's nasally. And there was only one other trans man that I knew that I picked him out immediately because of the same kind of. It's like a tootin' through a horn or something. You know, there isn't a deep bass to it. Maybe he's too used to talking like high in his register.
I don't understand how you can call yourself gender fluid and get enough of a diagnosis to get hormones prescribed.
Yeah.
Every therapist worth his salt should rule that out and dig deeper. What's your actual condition? Because there are people who just do this for escapist reasons.
So I overheard her talking about it one time, and this is interesting, is that she was saying that when she went through puberty, she just thought she would get both.
What?
I think she was lying. I think she was playing up a story, but like that came out of her mouth.
Yeah, well, I wish I wouldn't have something to add to all of this, because I've met so many of these people, and some of them are notorious liars. And a therapist should pick up on that. And when you have a notorious liar in front of you, you can't just hand out medication. And when they believe such magical nonsense, like assuming the person you're talking about actually believed that in puberty. I'm sorry, that's certainly not informed consent or anything.
I know. See, I think I see the issue here is that you said it shouldn't just hand out medication, but this is America. That's all they do. They make money off of that. So that's why.
Hold on, Wiz. So what I was about to say is, I've gone to a therapy session with one of my friends who, was diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and the therapist didn't challenge him. They're just like, oh, okay, here's the testosterone.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's because
that's not self-diagnosis is not a diagnosis. There is a differential diagnosis process that has to first. Bloody hell! First, you make physiological checks. You do blood work. You check are the hormones are your hormones on the natural levels for your biological sex. Then, what is your karyotype? Do you have a karyotype issue? Because if that would mean it's an intersex issue. If it's an intersex issue, you do not have gender dysphoria. You have something else. Do you have some organ issues, like some organ malfunctioning or something? Is it anything else? Have we ruled out all physiological issues beyond a brain scan? Then we move on to the psychological stage and test for, do you have any other issues? What about your life history, family? What was that like? Do you have any personality disorders? Are you schizophrenic? Do you have Münchhausen syndrome? Are you hypochondriac? Narcissistic personality disorder, very important. Borderline, very important. Basically, a reason to dismiss you entirely, because borderliners make up random shit and even make up revenge plans against people that they dreamed had hurt them while being aware that it wasn't a dream. That's the level of insanity. So if some borderliner claims to be trans, you say, fuck you. And I know I'm fucking up the pronunciation here quite often because I'm stumbling over myself. And there's more and more. There are so many things you have to rule out before you can give an actual diagnosis for gender dysphoria. And it is in part also because the SJWs are blocking funding for more research into doing brain scans, because we already know, and it will take probably 20 years, or at least until the culture war is over, which might be 20 years, which might be even 100 years if the socialist tyranny is installed globally, and then we all have to go through that shit, and only afterwards we can go back to real science. And then maybe we can use brain scans to determine, do you have actual gender dysphoria, because we know what brain anomalies have to be present to indicate that, because we can with almost 100% accuracy determine, does the patient have gender dysphoria or not. We have that technology. We can make accurate diagnostics with a bloody brain scan. And the activists are against that because, and I quote, that would erase trans identity. To which I say, good. Because this is not an identity. It's a medical condition. You do not make an identity out of my medical condition, you fucking grifter. You pretender. You're like the people who pretend that they have broken legs and drive around in a wheelchair when they can walk fine. Ah. God, bloody hell.
It reminds me of these like trenders people. I've heard a reason why at least women become fake trans women, or like they don't transition all the way, is because they start dressing more masculine, and because they get less sexual attention from men, they're like, oh, I feel so great like this, I must be a trans guy. And so they will go farther into trans men territory just because they're shy and they dislike the attention men give them when they present female. And so, completely subverting any gender dysphoria. They call it gender euphoria when they feel really good.
Oh, I've heard that term.
They don't have any dysphoria, but they just feel better about themselves when they're the opposite gender. But it usually correlates with women.
Yeah, that's what what we call that?
Yeah. What?
Escapism and fetishism.
Maybe. Or they're just.
I don't like myself, so I pretend to be something else. Okay, Mr. Napoleon.
But Napoleon wasn't short.
Look, he's French.
Nobody mentioned that he was short.
So.
It's a joke in America that Napoleon is short.
Yeah, but nobody mentioned that right now. I'm confused. What are you doing? Help me.
Oh.
I thought my brain went to Napoleon complex.
With short men. I don't know. I'm pretty lost here too. I think we'll play the video again. We're 24 seconds in.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. It's when they are just happy to pretend to be something they're not. Then that means they don't like themselves. And not liking themselves does not require medication. It requires someone sitting you down on your ass and giving you the tirade your parents didn't, and maybe slapping you left and right. Until you come to your senses. Grow the fuck up. See, these are the people that you need to send out into the wilds for 2 weeks and not let them get back for that time. Because afterwards, they will be humbled, they will have grown up, and they will know what is worth in life. You just give him a knife. You give him basic survival training, and that's it. No tent, no cup. They can figure out how to make something to drink water with themselves.
They can figure out how to waterfall their piss right back in the mouth to survive.
Well, you don't need to send them into the Mojave Desert, or however you pronounce that.
Mojave.
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 Yeah, whatever. It's not my fault. You pronounce all the letters weird.
No, that isn't us. That's Spanish. Spanish pronounces.
It's not my fault. The Spanish pronounce all the letters weird.
It is your fault, Wisp. I hope you can take responsibility.
No. I refuse. I reject the responsibility.
Reject modernity. Embrace tradition. Mojave.
Okay, Exhumed Legume says, fun fact, French inches and feet are longer than English ones. So Napoleon sounded short when the units weren't converted. He was actually pretty average size for his time.
Yeah, see, what everyone didn't realize is that they were actually giving the measurements of his penis, so kind of got put on blast.
Yeah, but the thing is, for one, it was deliberate slander to call him short. The other is that, man, do you have any idea how many different sizes for the same terms we had in the Holy Roman Empire of German nation?
Hey, bunch of words, bunch of different things. It's worse than the American.
Every bloody border you crossed in this fantasy land of this fairy tale land with its million kingdoms, the units were all differently defined, and to the point where an elle, that's an arm's length, is either measured from your elbow to your wrist, or your elbow to the end of your hand, or your shoulder to the end of your hand.
Yep.
That's a pretty big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these other things. And then it depends on whose arm was it.
Yeah, that's true. This is actually an extension I was talking about.
Yeah, and in the little fun fact, when you get around German towns and they still have their old city halls standing, you will usually find a large stone in the wall by the city hall entrance that shows several lengths, and that is the official lengths used in that town or in that general area that was ruled over by this place, and that also often included a round opening, like a round form, that showed this is how big a bread has to be, and a smaller one that showed this is how big a bread has to be when we have bad harvests. Hello?
Standardization in like a smaller scale. Pretty.
Yeah. So that people that there was an official rule: if there's a bad harvest, you don't need to revolt. We'll just make the bread smaller. This is the official size it will be when the harvest is bad, and all the bakers have to abide by it. Yeah, all this stuff. You were cutting out a bit.
Me? I'm stuttering. I'm not cutting out.
Okay.
I'm just not finishing what I'm saying.
Okay.
Cedar just stumbles over her words every now and then.
Out tripping, out stumbling. Sorry, man. Anyway.
Okay. Video.
Binary means having the sense of freedom to explore my gender in whichever way I want. I don't have to perform or pretend to be someone that I'm not. I can be my authentic self.
Bullshit.
You are.
Bullshit. You are performing because you are not your authentic self. Because you think you are something else than a man or a woman. You are doing this out of confusion. You have never explored yourself. You have to finish that journey before you make the decision to transition. What we do, people with an actual medical problem, is that we have to make our peace with this condition. And we pretty much know what it is. It's painful. It's bloody painful. It's very subtly painful, but it's painful. It's every day. It's 24/7. To the point where we can be haunted by dreams about this that we don't want. And this you have to figure out who you are before. Like, what are you? 26, 28, 30? And you don't know what you are, you don't know who you are, but you make life-altering operations on yourself and take random medicine. You don't even, and you still don't know who and what you are. You need to do these things to you.
Even beyond, even
go
just
out
this,
in the fucking woods and find yourself. You're not doing this by dressing up, for fuck's sake. Sorry, Sarah.
Beyond even just, the gendering stuff, it's so easy to see that they are, being performative. So it's so fucking funny. Because they're talking and they're posing and they're displaying and they're so comfortable and excited about this. I mean, it's so obvious to see. So on like both levels, they're a liar.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, stop identifying, start being. Because these people, they aren't yet. They're just fooling around. And I bet you, in a couple of years, they will get tired of this performance.
It's really important for us to share more information with people because people are curious, but sometimes they don't always have the opportunities to do that.
This is a hot topic.
Yes.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it a good thing?
I guess because it creates dialogue and it invites conversation to learn about other people.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are really confused about gender identity in these times. And
yeah, because people like you confuse everyone about it.
Also,
no one but people. Sorry, Cyrek. No one but people with actual gender dysphoria are confused. None of them. Maybe they're growing up, maybe they're going through puberty. That's normal. It's normal to be confused during puberty. After puberty, if you're still confused, it's gender dysphoria, or you're just pretending. You are pretending. You're confusing everyone with the socialist garbage. Cyrek?
This person brought up curiosity from people. More times than not, it's morbid curiosity.
Yeah, and honestly, mature people don't want to know about what's between your legs, and unless they find you sexually interesting. And mature people don't want to know what you do in your bedroom because it's none of their business. And all of this other shit. Like, I am just so this whole person is an insult to my entire problem. And these people want to get rid of us. Did I say that in the beginning already? It's so long ago by now.
I believe you did.
Yeah, we're in the way of their bullshit. They build it all on us. The socialists, like they do with everyone, like they did with the gays, like they did with the workers, like they did with the environmentalists, like they did with the women. They told everyone, "We're there for you. We're there for you. Come join us. We will help you. We will help you." And once that group is not useful anymore to them, or is not toting the line, they drop it. To the outer world, the outside world, they still pretend that they're all for that group, but really, the actual group has left the left. Because they've noticed these people are just exploiting us. They're just using us for something. And the crazies remain. And then, as you see with the rainbow movement, there's barely any trans people left in that thing. It's only these pretenders. This person is not trans. What is he? Where does he belong in there? Oh, in the plus. You added the plus. The plus is an artificial nonsense where everything can go in. You dye your hair, now you're the plus. That's why they added the Q, by the way. The queer. Like, queer meant gay. Now it means now it means I dress weird.
Why'd you laugh at that, Cedar?
Oh, okay. So I laugh at that because I do still spend a lot of time on Tumblr, and it's a giant fight about people using queer, because there's a big debate about, well, queer identifies and encapsulates our identity, and like the older LGBT people are like, I was called queer and spat on, so don't call me queer. That's a slur. And so I laugh at that debate that you're like, oh, you added queer on, because queer is just a generic. People like to. It's explained on Tumblr too that people who identify as queer are the people who are affected by the gay community that they the Tumblr gay community that the straight girls got wrapped up in. You were considered boring to be straight, and they're like, oh, no, I'm not straight then, but they don't actually really like girls, so they're queer, so that way they were not a boring straight head.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and that's what people like this also do. They just claim to be something they're not. That this person is getting a bit further than that. Being gay isn't enough for this one. Or when they claim to be bisexual, but they never have a same-sex partner. Same difference. And then you have to ask, how are you queer? What is that? What do you mean? What makes you queer?
They're going to say something about gender because that's...
Yeah, but dressing weird doesn't make you oppressed. That just makes you looking stupid. Having the opposite of a fashion sense does not make you oppressed, okay? It just makes you look dumb. But looking dumb, that's an actual choice. But the thing about this LGBT crap is that none of that is a choice. What this person is doing is a choice. What the girl that calls herself queer, just because she wants to be special, that's a choice. And that's narcissism speaking. That's not a person. That's not a mature woman. That's a narcissistic girl.
Yeah, I've never seen them be any older than like 22. The ones that identify as queer.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, in the 80s there was this phenomenon during the gay liberation stuff. There was this phenomenon that there were men who did claim to be gay when they weren't. Just for the attention.
Just for them lesbos.
Yeah, for the attention of, oh, you must have it so hard. Oh, you're so brave. It's a grift. It's nothing but a grift. Alright. God, I hate this. Hey, we made a minute.
Hey.
Oh,
ooh, let's get ice cream. Actually, ice cream sounds really nice.
I still have strawberry ice cream, but I don't want it. It's too sweet.
I want a fudge take a dump in my mouth.
That does not sound good.
No, it's like fudge, but it's like someone took... Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry.
Sarah, sometimes I don't know.
It's good for us to have these conversations, open their minds, and relearn and unlearn to what we've been taught.
Right.
Advocate, consultant, and community organizer. Why do I get the feeling this is a predator?
Wait, what? African... What?
What?
Oh, God.
Community organizer?
What the fuck? Are you not paying attention? Are you paying less attention than I am? Why are these...
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are really confused
thing
about
jumps too
gender
far.
identity in these times.
So, LGBT bullshit advocate, consultant, and community organizer. I say everything after the T is bullshit. And for a while, the Q stood for questioning. For some reason, they dropped that again. I don't know why, because it actually made some sense. Because there are kids who do question themselves for a time during puberty. And being supportive in an informative way, I think is an okay thing. I don't know why they dropped it again. I don't know. Maybe it's because they do not want this idea to stand that you can think for a while that you might be gay, but then stop being gay, or that it implies that you could think that you're trans, but then it turns out that you're not. And that's why they didn't keep the questioning, because it ruins the narrative of these things because they're pushing for these things to always be there forever. It's just a longer thought. Do you want to say anything about these titles there?
Me?
Or were you just confused because you misheard?
No, I'm just kind of like, well, you've wrapped it sort of up. I mean, that's just a bunch of activism that they're doing. LGBTQ. I've heard pretty valid arguments to call it just LGB. And
yeah, I understand why they want to get rid of the T. I completely understand it, because the T has been completely infiltrated and hijacked and parasitized by assholes like this. By pretending assholes like this. And we are not part of the T anymore. The people about whom the T is about.
Yeah. Well, like, what they were talking about is that even so, like, even on without, the crazy people, which they were complaining about, I've heard saying that the needs of the trans community are so different than LGB.
It's just additional. The truth is, it's additional things. I think it's just used as a justification, as an excuse to get rid of the T. But I can understand why they want to get rid of it. Like, we have all the issues that homosexuals have, plus additional ones.
Okay, yeah, because it is. She was saying something about how the wants of the trans community actually like hurts lesbians. So honestly, now that I think about it, he probably just didn't like trans women.
Yeah. A lesbian does not need to like a trans woman. That's why. Why should she?
Oh, I agree. I guess usually they have penis.
Yeah. If you're pre-op, there's no reason why the lesbian should like you.
Oh wait, what about those lesbians they're literally just men that want to fuck women, but they call themselves trans women?
What? No, okay. Yeah, you just said too many things that are confusing.
Sorry. Okay, I think my stuff's kicking in.
What, your meds or your lack of meds?
My slacker meds.
Okay. Can you just repeat that in different words? While paying attention.
I can translate because I understood what she said.
Say it. Okay, translate it.
So the translation of what Cedar said was, what about the men who call themselves trans women because they find it easier to sleep with women that way?
Yes, that's so much less words.
Who came up with that? That makes it easier.
Some dudes do it. I mean, like...
Maybe in California. Maybe in Berlin. So within these rainbow groups, maybe. I don't know, but that makes no sense.
Well, see, those are the people that then go in and browbeat lesbians into not finding them attractive. So like... They're the type, like, the Riley Dennis's is like, if you're not sexually attracted to me, actually... You're discriminatory, even though I have male parts and you exclusively like women parts, but I'm a woman.
Riley's a whole different beast.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, Riley is an actual predator. Oh God, I'm surprised that guy didn't land in prison yet. I mean, he said, and I know what I'm saying here. He said You don't need to have gender dysphoria to be trans, and he admitted to not having gender dysphoria. Hence, medically speaking, he is not a trans woman, he's just a body modification fetishist and a grifter.
Yeah, but he had gender euphoria, so that...
Gender euphoria is not a thing.
I know.
Bloody hell. Like, when my gender dysphoria went down after I started the hormone treatment, which happens in the second and third week, for the most part, I wasn't euphoric because of that. I was relieved. I was more at peace. That's not euphoria. My mind was free of stress. I could finally sleep better. And I could take much more stress than before. My creativity came back. None of that is euphoria. It's just that a lifelong pain subsided. There's still some of it there, but it's manageable. Before, it wasn't manageable.
That eyeliner's on point, though.
What?
I'm just looking at his eyeliner. It's really good.
And it's good for us to have so people open their minds and relearn and unlearn to what we've been taught.
Oh, so you want to brainwash people into your unscientific, pseudoscientific, anti-scientific bullshit. Look at the smug face.
That is a pretty fucking smug face. Holy shit.
And this is why I call these people predators.
So me as an empath can really tell that they
They think highly of themselves?
yeah.
What do your magic
Both of
powers
these
tell
people?
you?
My empathic
I, as an empath, what do you even mean? Mature people, all mature people have empathy.
No, it's what narcissists use as a cover. We're like, I'm an empath, so I like feel what you're feeling right now, so let me actually rewrite your feelings. And I can't be a bad person because I'm empathic. Because I'm an empath.
You mean the thing that narcissists and psychopaths and especially the therapist types do, and the bloody the bloody unfaithful harpy that destroyed my best friend. Yeah.
It is now the meme to make fun of people who are like, I'm an empath and like I can see what's going on here. No, yeah, everyone's seeing through it. You know, like the Shane Dawson thing. He calls himself an empath. Anyway.
I wish people would see through this. Instead, exactly these people build cults of personality with no problem. They attract the most gullible and naive people who know nothing about the world or being grown-ups, and it's like.
He's wearing the shirt of a cult leader, you know. I wouldn't wear that color if I wasn't anything else but a cult leader.
Yeah. And imagine you're me, trans woman, passes as long as I don't open my mouth, sitting in the tram, driving through town, and there's this tram stop that I'm driving by, and there's a poster with this thing on it. And I know, what is that? Is that supposed to represent me? Because this is a thing. This is a thing about the media that is so obsessed with this trans shit. Actual trans people, they cannot depict. But how do you depict a real trans woman? Sarek? Sarah just fell on her keyboard.
No, I didn't. I mean, I'm on, but yeah. I was trying to think.
How do I picture a real trans woman?
If you make an advertisement poster and you wanna make a photo of a trans woman, how do you know it's how does the audience know it's a trans woman?
Oh, my favorite one is the cyberpunk poster.
Oh, do away with that. Like a real, I'm talking real trans woman, not this body modification fetishist bullshit. Not this transhumanist crap.
I mean, if they pass, you can't really tell. So it's pointless.
So can you actually depict a trans woman in an advertisement?
No.
That's the joke. Because the point of our condition, we want to be invisible. We do not want to be seen. We do not want people to know what we are. And these assholes, and that's how you can tell that these guys are all phony. Because they want to be seen. They do everything to be seen. We, with the actual condition, we don't want to be seen. You can't see us. If we're done with our transition, you can't see that we are trans. Like you have to have real sharp eyes for that. Or the patient in question just wasn't very lucky. Because not everyone wins the genetic lottery, even in that regard. And this is a bit of a special topic anyway. So
even in body modification, they're ugly as fuck.
Yeah, Cyrek, or Setter, how do you depict a trans woman before a transition in a dignified way, as on an ad?
In a dignified way. I mean, usually.
I love this silence.
I feel like I'm gonna test it and study with.
Yeah, but look, the thing
I'm
is,
not good at advertising, so
before transition, yeah. Okay, say it.
I have no idea.
Because it doesn't work. Because before transition, we don't want anyone to know that we have this stupid condition. We tell it to very close friends, maybe family. When we are sure we're gonna do this. When we know, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm already far enough into therapy to have the diagnosis, or I'll get it next week or something, and I just want to warn you. I wanna be honest with you. So a very small circle of people knows that. And you can be on hormones for quite a while without people noticing. And so before that, we don't want anyone to know. During the transition, yeah, of course you can see there are some things off. But we don't like to be confusing to people. We don't like to be annoying to people, like most decent people. And of course it's certain things that are in current diagnostic methods are a bit undignified. Like in Germany, there's this rule that you have to cross-dress for a year, which is not cited as live in the role of the woman for a year, while not even ever defining what the role of the woman is. It's basically cross-dressing for a year, which is for a trans woman, for example, very undignified, because you don't get any hormones. You still have this beard to fight with. You have this horrible whatever word. You have this Adam's apple. You have the voice. It is embarrassing, honestly. You have to put in a lot of work to that this works, and you know whom this and this really puts some gender dysphorics off to do this. But you know who this doesn't filter out?
Weirdos like that.
Cross-dressers.
Yeah.
Cross-dressers don't get filtered out by that, but real gender dysphorics get filtered out by that. Like it works the exact wrong way.
Wait, so Germany has government mandated bottoming by taking the role of a woman?
Government mandated what?
Government mandated bottoming.
Bottoming?
You're on the bottom in sex.
You could interpret it that way.
I'm making a joke, but yeah, the role of the woman's usually.
Said I'm autistic. I don't get your jokes.
Hi.
Okay. Sorry, I think the Smutcast is over. You can post the stream link in my channel if you want.
Aye.
Yeah. So long story. Before transition, you don't see that there's a trans person. That there's someone with gender dysphoria. You don't see it. During transition, it's embarrassing. Why would I want to be on a poster that then on an advertisement poster that then shows for the rest of my life that I am trans, when I know that after the transition is complete, barely anyone will ever notice. And after I'm done with the transition, and I'm naturally passing to people, so I don't need to tell anyone any stupid pronouns or some shit like that. That's why they're completely useless, by the way. Because people will then naturally think I'm a woman, call me she, say her about me, and so on. You couldn't see me, you couldn't see it either. So it is actually impossible to depict a trans woman on an advertisement poster or in a movie role or anything in a dignified way without saying that it's a trans woman. And even then, how would you verify? It looks like a normal woman. Or a guy before transition. And this is also why Hollywood and all these other Western media are unable to depict actual trans characters in all of their woke bullshit. Because all they do depict are weirdos like this. Who are not like us.
Speaking of the worst woke...
That's why you would need to write a story about the whole trans thing directly and not do it like they do. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh, yeah. So that just reminds me of like a really bad way a show showcased a trans character so ham-fistedly. It was like going through, they're asking this male professor about their mom, they're going back, and then they're like, who's my mom with? And it was like, that was me. That was before I was Jacob, but now I live as Jacob. Or like talking about transition in a world that has magic that can actually change.
Oh, you're talking about High Guardian Spice?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, please don't scream. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No,
I know you can be very euphoric.
I am very gender euphoric, yes. I'm very woman.
Oh yeah, that scene is so wrong in every way. And that show writer also calls him or herself, whatever it is, trans. And that scene completely shows that this person can't be trans. Because that is so counter every comprehension of gender dysphoria. That it's just, it shows that the comprehension of this person, of this writer, is nothing but all of this is performative, all of this is for fun, it is fun, and it is a choice, and so on and so on. But that's not what it is. It's not fun. It's nothing to be proud of either, it's just something you deal with.
I mean, nothing about that show was something to be proud of.
That's another topic entirely, and that would take a day to talk of, at least with me.
I think it would take 2.
Thank you.
Look, I'm not sure what that means either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just at a loss for words.
Many people think gender pronouns are exclusive to the LGBTQ plus community, but
it's, by the way, it's not a community. So they call it a community. I've said this in other streams I've been on a couple of times. There is no community. A community is something cohesive, and they maybe even as aiming in a direction or something, or working together. And this is simply not a community. We are not a community. Like, gamers are not a community. It's a demographic. And in the case of the LGBT, it is 4 demographics in one that have a general red thread going through them. But that still does not make it a community. From a community, you can exclude people. From a demographic, you cannot exclude people except by death. And that is why they call everything a community. So they can have control over it, claim to speak for it, and exclude people from it. That's why they exclude gay people who are not social justice warriors from the rainbow. Why they exclude lesbians who are not in line with their stuff, who do not want to have sex with trans women from it. That's why they start to exclude bisexuals from the LGBT. So the entire letter they're trying to exclude because, well, bisexuals reinforce the gender binary. And that's why they exclude the T's with actual gender dysphoria from it, as I've explained a couple times now. And they do it by all means necessary. That means including driving people to suicide and worse. Well, personally, I think that's because driving people to suicide it's not legally, but it is, if you think about it logically, a form of murder. Psychological murder, and it's been described as that for at least 2 decades now, if not longer. But that's the literature I have so far. Personally, I think it's one of the worst forms of murder, because everything else is faster. But yeah, and easier to investigate too. But let's go on.
That's a misconception, true?
Yeah. Well, everybody has pronouns. Like, you may use he and him.
So this is a quick thing with the pronouns are only for the LGBT. Like, whoever said that? That sounds like a straw man. Or it sounds like a straw man made up to start the conversation in this show. I've never heard that before.
I've heard it probably on Tumblr where people are gatekeepy, so they're like, oh, you can't have the pronouns. Although it has majorly turned that they want everyone to have pronouns in their bio. 1, because they like to control language, and 2, it's supposed to, if straight het people have pronouns in the bio, it hides them more. Because, it's a screaming red flag if you have pronouns in your bio. Sorry, do you know what I mean by pronouns in your bio?
I know what you mean by pronouns in your bio, but some other things you said were a bit muffled.
Oh, sorry, I'm leaning away from my mic. So, yeah, it's gatekeepy. That's why, like, straight heterosexual people can't have it.
But I thought the social justice warriors are all against gatekeeping, and that gatekeeping is evil and bad, and only Nazis do that, and fascists do that.
Not when it's their stuff. Not when it's the dirty white het straights.
Yeah, and to clarification on that one, it is not even about whether you're hetero or homosexual, whether you are a man or a woman, whether you are trans or not trans, which they call cis, and they only use the term cis in derogatory contexts.
Mm-hmm.
Which should make you think. So I'm completely fine with saying not trans or normal. I'm fine with when people say normal. It's the same with autism. I'm fine with people saying non-autistic. You don't need this neurotypical stuff. Because there is lots of people who are certainly brain damaged, who are still not autists, like borderliners and psychopaths, or schizophrenics.
Or would you say ADHD is under that umbrella? I've heard it before as it being neurodivergent.
Well, it depends on the brain. The thing is that the whole neurodivergent term that the sociologists made up. With autism, it would you can make a case with autism. That was the only thing they used it at first, because it made sense. Because the autistic brain has physiological differences towards the non-autistic brain. Not in how it's structured, but in the amount of neurons and neural connections between them. We have up to 40% more neurons and connections between that. So we are literally too dense.
Whereas like something with like ADHD is a dopamine deficiency. It's deficiency in like hormones, and not, we don't have a higher neuron count.
Oh, my dad explained why when I am mentally exhausted, I have more ADHD-like symptoms.
Yeah, that's what ADHD. It's so anxiety and depression is like a serotonin deficiency, but ADHD is a dopamine deficiency.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why stimulants help you, because that's what they're saying is that ADHD is a constant itch. You're lacking dopamine, and so your body wants it, and so your impulsive decisions are to get more dopamine, and that's why a methamphetamine or like an amphetamine is what helps regulate it, because it stimulates you enough that you can actually focus. Because otherwise, you're just taking in constant stimulation to fill that dopamine.
Interesting. Maybe that is why many autists have ADHD symptoms, because we have a higher basic stress level. Like imagine we all have the same, as if we could all have the same maximum capacity for stress. Autists have a higher basic load of stress all the time. So the leftover stress that we can operate in before we hit the cap is much less. That means we exhaust earlier, and then maybe the ADHD symptoms can come in earlier. I don't know. Just a guess on the fly.
They like they kind of like they interweave with each other, but they're not the same, because someone can be autistic and ADHD, and I'm sure someone can be, well, yeah. I don't know much about it, but I'm learning a lot, so you know.
Yeah, I know people with ADHD, but definitely not autistic.
Yeah.
Oh God, some you can't. It's hard. It's hard, and it's bearable when they're aware of their behavior most of the time. But planning with some of them is roll a 20-sided die.
Yes. I mean, you gotta learn coping skills. I was harshly taught coping skills to be on time, so that's why I'm on time.
That's cool. Okay, let's see if we can make it to minute 2.
Okay.
As your pronoun. I use they and them as my pronouns too, but I think it's important for people to understand that for trans and non-binary people, we often change our pronouns.
No, we don't! Sorry, I'm shouting.
For trans and...
Stop. You do not speak for me. You do not speak for us. We do not change our pronouns all the bloody time. We know what we are. You don't know what you are. You are an actor. You change those words all the time because you feel bored. You feel boring. So you need something new. You're like a child that needs new flashing lights. That is it. That who does not have who probably doesn't have standards when watching movies. You just want entertaining, flashy effects on the screen, and random emotions in your soap opera. But the plot doesn't make any sense. But you don't care about the plot because you can't even think that far. No, you just want flashy things. You just want some euphoric hits.
What's that fucking?
You're just there for feeling high about yourself. Do not speak for us. Bloody hell. A trans person that keeps changing his or her pronouns all the time is not a trans person. That person needs a therapist, and a competent one. And you need a competent therapist, and you never had one. Just like your partner never had a competent therapist. You paid a doctor to get a double mastectomy, like your partner, I mean. But you don't even know whether you're a man or not. Bloody hell. This is where I get offended. This is such a beloved word these days. And I think, am I legitimately offended when assholes like that claim to speak for me and spout this bullshit?
I'd be. I certainly would be.
It's not just that more of the population hates these people. And they conflate us with them, which is completely understandable because we are invisible by nature. That's what we seek to be. That's why it's so easy for these assholes to take over this entire part of the rainbow crap and just claim to speak for us all the time. Because none of us opens their mouths. And I'm sorry I didn't for all these years. I wanted to, but I wanted to get this bloody voice shit done at least. Otherwise I'd have made stuff for at least 5 years now. I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm sorry. I would have sacrificed that goal. But I wanted to at least get some basic things done with this transition crap.
Yeah. Probably.
And Sue's just moving around that chair. But
I'm sorry.
hopefully with what I'm working on for you.
That's another thing. Like, don't bring it up here. We are focusing on the video.
Yeah.
This is not a morning show stream. This is a longer one on a specific topic. But thank you. We'll see.
Sorry.
To reflect who we are. Who we are.
How do you?
So I'm sorry. I'm getting buffer
That for
issues on my
trans and
end.
non-binary people, we often to reflect who we are when we come out.
You explain the difference between sex and gender.
I consider sex to be our biological makeup. Our chromosomes or hormones, our genitals is a biological makeup.
I have to hear that again because that was just absolute gibberish.
Too, but I think it's important for people to understand that for trans and non-binary people, we often change our pronouns to reflect who we are when we come out and be who we are.
How do you explain the difference
Oh, there's only
between
once.
sex and gender?
I consider sex to be our biological makeup. Our chromosomes or hormones, our genitals is a biological makeup.
So this guy already has no clue how sex is already defined. I said that in the beginning. I mean, at least he acknowledges biological attributes. Okay. But he doesn't know how it's scientifically defined.
But our gender is more of an internal sense. So think of it like this.
It's
Are you
where
about to say something about sex offender?
What, Cyrek?
Gender and sex are the same.
Essentially, yes. I gave my long speech in the beginning about that. I think it's your what they call gender is just as much biologically informed as how your body grows. It's just that in the case of us with the gender dysphoria, that something in the brain's fucked up. That's all. The same is the case with homosexuals. They have the sexual orientation pattern recognition system of the other sex, because and that is easy to know because that is a completely different size. It's the same part of the brain, but it's a completely different size between the sexes. The female one is much bigger. However, homosexuals, sexual orientation thing, it's behind the Hirnanhangdrüse. Pituitary gland? It's behind that. I forgot the name.
Pituitary gland?
It's behind the pituitary gland.
I don't know that.
And it's like I think it's 4 times as big as in men, but homosexuals have that part is as big as that of women. That's why it's physiological. Like at some point in your development, whether that was during the fetal stage or later on, is irrelevant for the moment of this explanation. How your brain wiring is set up and your body informed this somehow, and in this case, and in these cases, the wrong message was sent, and so this part of the brain was built in the wrong way. And that's why you are the way you are. It's not about, they're still bumbling around about, oh, is there a gay gene or not? Ha ha ha. No. No. And we've known this for decades at this point. That this is decided by the hormone cocktail that, to a large degree, a hormone cocktail that the fetus is subjected to in the uterus. If that hormone cocktail is weird during certain times of development, weird things happen with the fetus, like weird brain development. That can be due to immune reactions by the womb. That can be due to the mother being under a lot of stress, and thus the hormone cocktail in there changes as well. That all of or illness or anything, all of those things have an effect on the fetus in some way. What you eat has an effect on the fetus, for blood's sake. So, where did I trail off here originally? Right, definitions of this gender thing. Yes, the gender is just as predetermined. What they call gender. Other than that, they just lumped in personality, your personal interests and preferences into this term. That's all this term is. Your personality, your interests, your preferences. There's nothing else in there. To call that something else is bullshit. Also, while I'm at it, we are not transitioning gender. Okay? Up here in my empty hollow wisp head, I am still the same person I was before the transition. I still have the same interests. I still have the same personality. I still have the same preferences. I may be more open about some of them, or that's a different thing. That's because I'm more at peace with myself. But that doesn't change who I am inside. We are not transitioning gender. So the term transgender is wrong. It was transsexual before. Why did they change that? Well, first, because sex is a dirty word, we don't want to use that.
Yep.
But I think that is even that is just an excuse to switch to this bullshit term, transgender. We are not transitioning gender. We are transitioning sex. As much as we can. We are transitioning physiological attributes, superficial attributes for the most part. We are transitioning our phenotype. Because that's all we can do in this dark era for this topic. Technology there's nothing better yet. And a lot of trans women are not doing the genital operation, not because they're not trans, they don't have gender dysphoria, but because they looked into it and thought this is bullshit. And they still have. That feeling of dysphoria is very prominent because, well, the discrepancy between what there is and what you feel there seems to be or should be is quite obvious. It's like the difference between having no breasts and having D cups. And you have one, but you feel like you should have the other.
It's got some big double D.
Silence. And where was I? It's getting late.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We're what do we call that? Bra buddies?
I don't remember bra buddy.
You told me you have the same size.
I know. We'll be
if you make jokes about me, I can say that.
No, no, we could say that. No, we're tit twins, don't you know?
Tit twins. God. Bloody hell! You are atrocious. I will never invite you again onto the stream until next week.
You say that. Christina's a good friend.
Hey, I'm pretty fucking chill. I just won't show up high next time. I'm so sorry.
All right, just don't make fecal jokes, okay?
Oh yes, very sorry.
I mean, I already curse enough on the stream already for it to get thrown off the internet. You don't need to help me with that.
Don't worry. I'll bring the respect of this cast down.
No, don't. I'm already. I'm. Don't go lower than me, okay?
No, you're too high. So people respect you too high. So I bring it down a little bit. So it's, it's a balanced cast.
No,
You don't understand what I just said. But okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So where was I? Ah, right. Why trans women don't do the operation? Because the result of that operation is often so bad, that's when the suicide rate increases again. It lowers after hormone therapy starts, and all these other things, they help. They alleviate some a little more because they make it easier to pass as well. And you feel more confident about yourself. That's great. But the genital operation is this big thing of, oh, well, this is crap. And it depends on which type you do. And going into the details of that goes a little bit too far for how long the stream already is. We'll do that eventually. The thing is simply one reason, for example. You can rationalize, because we have to rationalize a lot of things for to make the correct decisions. For example, yes, what we biologically have between our legs feels utterly wrong. Like when we are sexually aroused, it feels as if it's the other thing. Then we have the need of the other genital, but that's just not there. It's like your brain is wired in a way where it physically feels as if there is the other sexual organ. It's like it's not a hallucination. It's just a body map. It's a body mapping issue, and so the thing is, still, that biological thing, at least physiologically works. You can stimulate it. You can get something out of it, and I don't mean in the lewd way. You can get a positive feeling out of it. And if you get a botched operation, it can go to the point where you can't feel anything anymore. And depriving people of their ability to have sexual arousal and sexual satisfaction, well, that can people drive over the edge again, because that's a pretty important integral part to the human existence and human experience.
So is it like they have sexual urges, but there's no way to actually fulfill them because they just ruined the parts that would get stimulated, or would they just never have like arousal going again?
No. It's you can't. I give the Tim Pool answer. It's complicated, but yeah, for one, you can never get a satisfaction anymore when the nerve tissue is damaged, the job is botched, and honestly, if you look into how these things are done, you can understand why that can't function. There are some new techniques on the way developed for women who have been completely genitally mutilated by a certain religion prevalent in Pakistan, and and it's been developed in India, and they're basically building the female genital from the ground up with completely different tissue, because this and there have been cases, I haven't followed them so far, that of trans women that wanted to try that out for themselves instead of doing the standard inversion nonsense. The inversion nonsense is really nonsense.
Or would they like split it open like an orange and just stiff it?
I don't know, Seda. Please don't be too gross, okay?
Okay.
It's just I curse a lot, but there's some things I don't like to talk about in certain ways because it just makes me feel disgusted. Other people take pleasure in a feeling of disgust or cringe. Cringe humor doesn't work on me, for example.
Okay.
It at best annoys me. That's all. Yeah. Didn't want
So
to.
did it work?
I didn't want to. What?
Did doing it the way the India developed for trans women work?
Oh, it wasn't developed for trans women. It was developed for mutilated women. But I haven't followed the cases of trans women that tried it out for themselves, for them. For themselves. But from the theory, it sounds like a better idea. But
Yeah.
we'll see. And there will be other technologies in the future. It at best, that's what may surprise some people. Personally, I would hope that we can find a way to keep gender dysphoria from happening in the first place. Because there's nothing worthwhile in this condition for the ones who have it. It destroys your life. Either way. Either you keep the pain and try to have a normal family, or you transition and there won't be a normal family. But most of us still want a normal family. But either way, it's not ever gonna be normal. Having a family, having a lovely spouse, having lovely children, that love can counterweight the pain of the dysphoria, but it will never make the dysphoria go away. But it is a valid path for people to decide. I know a couple people who did choose that path. I won't say who they are, because I'm probably the only person those people ever told. And that is a valid way. And these activists, the trans activists, I call them craptivists, they just lie that this even is a thing. They say everyone should transition. No. That's a choice you have to make. And you can only make it after puberty is done. Because up until the end of puberty, the gender dysphoria can go away naturally. In most cases, that is the case. In most
I
instances.
felt kind of weird during puberty, and then I grew out of it. I think that's just part of being puberty.
Yeah, it's around 80%. Yeah. Like 4 out of 5 kids who have gender dysphoria, have actual gender dysphoria, by end of puberty, don't have it anymore. So the only ones, and that's not including the kids that claim to have it when they don't, as far as I know. So the only ones relevant to even treat, the only ones relevant to have to consider any choices to be made, are the 20% that have post-puberty persistent gender dysphoria. It's a plain logical thing. And that's not an emotional thing, that's a rational thing. If 80% of kids lose their gender dysphoria, or claims thereof, by the end of puberty, why should we intervene medically in any way before that? Because as far as we know, from the data we have, any kid that gets hormone blockers or HRT already during puberty remains or will choose to transition. That probably includes the kids that have that don't have gender dysphoria. And a lot of those kids, after puberty, a couple of years later, realize, oh, this was a mistake, and detransition. And the left, the rainbow movement, does not talk about them either. They call them traitors. Imagine that. You've made a medical mistake. Life mistake even. You're possibly sterile. And then these assholes, like this asshole here on screen, would call you a traitor. Haven't they done enough damage?
Yeah.
Sex is what's between the ears, right? It's how we see ourselves on the inside.
Okay. And that's something somebody...
I don't think you see anything when you look inside, because you're a narcissist. You have nothing on the inside. There's just this tiny little 5-year-old kid somewhere trying to run away from reality and from the fact of what a shitty person you are and how many people you've hurt in your life with your manipulative behavior. Because when that epiphany comes crashing down, narcissists usually, they go through a tough phase and some kill themselves. Because suddenly their empathy awakens and they realize how shitty they have been for decades. It's
can't know. Gender is something somebody can't know just by looking at somebody.
Nope, yeah. Because everyone is going to present and express themselves in a different way. I know, it's very confusing, right?
That is not confusing at all, you fucking idiot. What is this? What is this act here? And also, thank you for saying it that way. This way you prove that gender is not assigned at birth. Because no one ever did that. Sex is assessed at birth. Technically before that, but if you do an ultrasound. Like, these people have twisted language. Left, right, up, down, inside and out. So much bullshit.
You know, about us breaking that assumption that we can tell someone's identity, someone's story, their pronouns.
No. I don't give a shit about your identity. The thing that... No, wait, let's be more clear. The identity that you make up. I don't care about the stories you make up. I care about who are you. I don't ask how do you identify. I identify as Worf from Star Trek Next Generation. Like, that doesn't make anyone Worf. The actor of Worf doesn't identify as Worf because he's not insane. He plays Worf. You are children on the playground playing cowboy and Power Rangers. And you never grow out of that. That's why you use this kind of language. That's why I do not ask, how do you identify? I ask, who are you? And if the police asks you, identify yourself in an imperative way, they don't want to know your fucking pronouns. They want your name.
I'm just thinking of police knocking on the door going, LAPD, what do you identify?
Identify yourself. And then, I'm Alyssa McStarcream, she, they. But you can also say Xer.
I'm Zimzer. Zim Invader. My favorite's Jim Jam. Jam went to the store to get Jim.
Zim Zam Space Invader.
Ah, yes. We love Invader Zim.
My God. I will run out of energy drinks before we're through with this if I ever get to it. Like there's still no Matt Walsh.
Their name just based on how they look, right?
Yeah. And so
what was that?
That we can tell someone's identity, someone's story, their pronouns, even their name, just based on how they look.
Oh, yes,
how do you make up such insane bullshit? I can't tell your name by how you by just looking at you, unless you're some famous person, maybe. Also, I have problems with facial recognition, by the way, autism thing. You cunt bucket. Oh god, I need better insults. How can you even make up this retarded speech? Seriously. Nobody in human history that was halfway sane ever thought to know someone else's name just by looking at them. And all of this other shit, oh, I can tell a lot about you by looking at you. You are a narcissist and a grifter and a fetishist. And you don't know yourself. And you claim to speak for people who do not want to be spoken for by you. Because you just talk shit. You are a con artist. You make a mockery of people with real problems. And you make people hate us and fear us. Because a lot of your types are predators on children. And I wish that was an exaggeration. You can tell a lot by looking at people. You can learn to see the patterns. I may have problems with facial recognition if I don't see people very often or if they're not very distinct. And I can even forget some people, and then I can't even tell old friends on the street anymore when I only see them years later and think like, is that the same person? Did I know that person? And yeah, it's not cool. The thing, but however, there are distinct patterns that some people with mental disorders show. I can tell a borderliner from 30 meters away. Because borderliners have an extremely distinct body language, posture, facial expressions, the way their eyes look, the way they smile, and it's all the same with all of them. And borderline is also overdiagnosed. There are a lot of misdiagnoses. And then there's a lot of borderliners who are not properly treated. And I just let them run around outside with their diagnosis when they should be in a closed ward doing DBT instead. I can tell psychopaths to a frightening degree at this point. Like tell them that their eyes are some of the scariest shit you will ever see once you know what you're looking for. And you can learn this pattern. You will automate seeing these patterns as well. The way they smile. The psychopath smile is one of the scariest things you will ever see in your entire life. And I've seen it 3 times directed at me. And they all cut down deep into, like, if you've seen like the stereotypical pedophile in a TV series or a movie can have this like, usually they have these sunglasses on, and they have this very distinct, hungry, soulless, toothless smile that is usually skewed on one side. Do you have an idea what I mean?
I don't think so. I am very bad at paying attention to other people. So.
Okay, Cyrek?
I wouldn't know either. Like.
Okay, then you're very lucky people. I envy you. But that smile is some of the scariest shit I've ever seen, and it took me a while to put that together. I had to see it several times to make the connection, and reflect on what the people were and what they did, how they acted. And then it clicked at some point, and I knew, oh shit. And yeah, I think it's a worthwhile thing to learn, and you can, just like you can learn to tell a liar, not with 100% accuracy, but these other things, borderliners and psychopaths, I think they are easy once you get the pattern down. And there's obvious autists that you can also learn to spot very quickly. It's different with the more adapted ones, the more higher functioning ones. But all that aside, if you learn this and you see this, and then you can also protect your friends a little better from such people. They will not necessarily believe you when you give them the whole scientific talk, but just things like I have a bad feeling or something is usually the better approach. But thank you, Bears. That is very sweet of you. I am, however, not that good looking, and not that slim. So I'm not fat. I'm just not that body type. That would be that would be too good to be true.
Wisp, you have a ghostly figure though.
Okay, let's go on.
Right.
And so how does someone, Ethan, what's the best way? What's the most comfortable way?
I think for me, to create a safe space for people to share their pronouns, I will say, hi, my name is Ethan. I use he or they pronouns. What about you?
I think it's really important for us to recognize other people's pronouns because, again, we can't make that assumption. But for so many people who are cisgender, meaning that you do identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth.
See, this is the lie. This is the fucking lie. Nobody assigns, first lie, gender, second lie, at birth.
Birth, a lie.
You assess the biological sex. You yourself make the distinction between sex and gender. So why do you lie about what a doctor does at birth?
Wait. I just realized something that he said, that you can tell a lot about a person when you first see them, except you can't make assumptions about their pronouns when you see them. Like, you can tell their name by looking at them, but you can't tell their gender when you look at them.
No, he said you can't tell their name.
Sense.
Oh, is that what you said? I thought you said you could.
No, he said you can't tell. You can't tell.
Yeah, but honestly, if somebody came up to me, stated their name, and then like I go by this and this, I'm like, all right, I'm Sarek, and later. You're not worth having a conversation with.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're always a little bit weird, but have I met them in real life, or have I just come across them on the internet? I feel like I have. Anyway.
These people.
No, I've come across them.
Yeah, these people.
In real life, really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just don't meet a lot of people anymore.
What were you saying, Wisp?
These people have poisoned this whole rainbow shit so much that lots of us don't want to go to these places anymore. Like rainbow bars where you could maybe find someone to talk about your problems with or something. Because it's instantly this, hello, my name is this and that, my pronouns are that. And if you don't respect that, they start hating on you. Why should I respect this made-up bullshit? They don't respect our medical condition, for fuck's sake. They don't respect our pain. They make a mockery of it. They make a joke of it. And they exploit it for their personal gain. Their power and privilege. They like these words so much. That's what they actually do. This asshole wants to be privileged because of some fetishism. That I understand why there are people saying this is Babylon all over, or the fall of the Roman Empire all over, or something. Like, this is what it looks like. This is just degeneracy. You're falling for charlatans.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
Yeah, honestly, I'm starting to get fond of the Deus Vult memes at this point.
I've been fond of them for a while now.
I can't let God do all the work.
Yeah, I mean, what does I mean, I have some chainmail, but I'm lacking all the rest of the equipment. Like, I just need some breastplate, a helmet, and then well, I guess some gauntlets and
Double D breastplate
and the tabard with the big cross on it. I want a shield. I want a big shield.
Do you need double D chest plates?
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
You're not non-binary. I think a lot of people pronouns because we already use them.
I'm sorry, I get buffering issues on my end all the time.
You identify with the gender that you were assigned. You're not transgender or not non-binary. I think a lot of people don't even question.
Oh, at first when they came out with this non-binary, they said it's the same as transgender.
Yes.
Now they make a clear distinction between the two. Yes, Cyrek?
Some still claim it as trans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now they make a clear distinction that it's something else than trans. Because in the end, this is why they do this. Like the whole non-binary idea is built upon, that's the fan fiction about our medical condition. I know I'm repeating myself. This stuff is so, they have made up so many fairy tales at this point that I've talked with people. You have to repeat this shit because they have all this wool in their head at this point. So this non-binary stuff, they invented based on ideas and bullshit ideas about gender dysphoria, about transsexuality. And now they have caught enough people in this web of lies that this non-binary crap can sustain itself on its own. There are enough people so that this is now a self-perpetuating thing, and they're now teaching it in schools to the kids and confuse the kids with it. While they will more and more try to fade out the transgender term. Just like they changed it from transsexual to transgender in the first place. They will try to fade it out because that's the only way they can make sure that any memory of biological foundation to these conditions is erased from public consciousness. This is the future socialists envision for your children. Look at the screen. This is what they want your children to be.
Gay communists.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that, and also the more I see people who are like, oh, I'm non-binary, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, the more I'm like, this is just population control.
Oh, you caught up on that. Great.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the inevitable result of all of this. Pushing kids into being gay, pushing kids into believing to be trans, and telling their parents, oh, I'm 8 years old, I'm the other sex, sterilize me.
But I thought it was
it's the outcome is population control, yes. Aborting your kids, your abortions, it's population control. And that is what Planned Parenthood in the USA was founded for. Specifically to cull the black population, but now they just do it to everyone. Sorry, Sarah?
Well, if it's population control and it's mostly with it's usually the white people that end up doing it. I thought those
I noticed that too.
Types of people that would push it forward, I thought they're just is that there's too many minority children that are outpacing the white children, or is it that they just hate the poors?
I think they just target different strategies at different people that work best with the target demographic.
So they just want everyone? What do they want to be the last people on Earth or something? Damn.
Well, if you look at the insane writings that are behind all of this crap, it's that and technically it's a theme that goes through history. Is that the ruling class wants to get rid of the too competent part of the population because the too competent part is a threat to their power.
I forgot the competent part because I was sitting there and I was like, well, they need debt slaves to make their debt empire off of it, so they can't just kill everyone.
Yeah, well, they can do that once they got rid of of what they see as the competent threat, and after that, because these people believe that, oh, the Earth is this holy thing, we should only have, like, I don't know, 1 million people on it or something. Like, the numbers are different depending on who you ask. Like, if you look at these Georgia Guidestones, it's like 500,000 or something.
Humanity's the parasite.
Yeah, and what they really want, what they really want. If you've watched Stargate, SG-1, and if you watch the whole series, it is a great series, watch the series, you figure out that, well, all these Goa'uld planets, they're just these little feudal places where there's just like maybe 1,000 or 2,000 slaves working for this one little Goa'uld lord or something, but it's this giant planet, and you wonder what's going on with that? That seems a bit weird. Turns out, at the end, as the story concludes, and I think they do this with... Oh, I forgot who he plays. It's one of the best Goa'uld lords in the thing. He has the same vibe as Ares in Hercules with Kevin Sorbo. I forgot which Goa'uld lord he plays. Like, wonderful, suave guy. Like, you want to give him your empire because he's just that cool. And he has a conversation with someone as I think his cohort. As he arrives with his ship at Earth for a meeting with the humans or something, I don't know. And they see that Earth has billions upon billions of people. And the Goa'uld Lord, the female Goa'uld Lord, says, how could we have let this world get so out of control? Because it's the reason the Goa'uld keep the human populations they have as slaves so small on all their planets, is because that's easier to control and cull. Controlling 6 billion people, that's difficult. 6 billion people, that can launch a significant rebellion. And the elites that believe in this population culling control bullshit, they have the same mindset. It's not simply about just oh, we want to save the planet, blah blah blah. That itself is just part of propaganda. The thing is that a smaller population is easier to control and maintain and rule over.
That might be why giving birth is so fucking expensive, because more than anything else, what I hear is a reason for people my age to not start families is literally the cost. Like, no one who's sensible wants to have a kid because it's too expensive to live. It's too expensive to give birth. It's like $10,000 to give birth in a hospital. And so, like, I can see.
And it's also shit. And from what I hear, especially from American hospitals, that's also not the greatest places to give birth at this point.
Oh no, it's really bad because the advocacy for women in medicine is terrible, and they just do whatever's convenient. The doctor does whatever's convenient to the doctor. It doesn't matter whatever the needs are of women. And there's thousands of stories of people of women just getting ignored. So yeah, like giving birth, you get paid $10,000 to get snipped yourself and then have it get infected, and then actually dislocate your own abs in the process of pushing because you're pushing too early, because actually the baby does slip out. Anyway, sorry.
Oh yeah, just at this point I know I'm a bit offside on that topic due to my biological condition, but the doctor who specialized in giving birth, who had held a martial arts seminar, I was at, which was very, very fun, and he talked out of the what do you call that, out of the box. We in German we say out of the sewing kit. about his job and all the little tricks and what works better, and even how you can make the fetus before birth turn around when it's upside down and stuff without any big intervention. Like you just need to heat up the, I think it's the right one, little toe. And that's some nervous reaction that creates like you can use either a lighter, or you can, which burns a bit, but you can also use a heating salve, and that heat creates a nervous reaction feedback thing that makes the fetus move for some reason. We don't know why it does that, but it does that.
Oh Lord, it's hot.
Do you know that?
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, is kept so close to the hitting power button. No, I haven't heard of that trick before. I mean, I don't really know that much. But that's pretty neat. Yeah, that's probably all that, like, wise woman tips and tricks that were in medicine. But then because...
And he traveled around with all these tribes and met them and wanted to know, what are they doing here? And how do you do it? And we just go to into the sea water and then wait until the kid comes out.
Yeah.
And they just squat.
They give water births back in the tribes. That's hilarious. That water births are a type of like at home birthing cycles, and they're actually really easy.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Don't do this lying on the back shit. That is the worst thing you can do. Squatting, water birth, and just wait. The gravity does most of the work if you are upright. Like just make sure someone's below you to catch the football. Seriously. Yeah. You don't need this. You barely need this pushing crap.
Yeah, like
no animal. Mostly... I'm sorry.
No animal does it. Oh,
yeah. No animal does it on the back. No animal does it on the back. That's just for to be easier for the doctor. But why the hell does the female birth need to be easier for the doctor? Shouldn't the birth be easier for the mother giving birth?
See, that's the thing, is that they don't respect. They don't care, because I mean they never really felt it, and it's easy for them, their job, and they're helping birth, and that they've just dismissed all of the wise women and like wise women stuff, because that wasn't part of their male physician science, and they kind of dismissed it like that's not important. We have all of this stuff here, and so that's really mostly what it is.
Yeah. Anyway.
And so we're all just rediscovering this stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful subtopic. So if you give birth like and you're sick of all of that, I'm not saying you should, but you can dig around some. Some of this hippie crap is actually useful. Like of 100 esoteric things, 99 are crap and one is a gold mine. Especially in this regard. All right.
Their pronouns. Use them, and it's already assumed correctly. But for so many trans and non-binary people, that isn't often assumed correctly. So
no, for us it's fine. It's for you hacks that it doesn't work, because what the hell should anyone call you, freak? I'm a trans woman. Yes, my voice is still shit. But you are a freak. We are not the same. Oh fuck, that's that meme, right? I did the meme again.
The meme?
Yeah, the Gustavo Fring meme.
Nah.
So we need to take the time.
Cisgender, it says adjective that describes a person whose gender identity matches or aligns.
Someone who's normal.
You can say it.
Oh, what the hell is this piss flag? I forgot. I keep forgetting what all these stupid flags that all look like piss and shit mean.
That is supposed to be the asexual? Quote unquote non-binary.
Yeah, that's a non-binary one.
Your flag looks like shit. Also, why do you need a flag for an alleged medical condition?
Oh, because they have the rainbow flag. And then all of the
but that's okay. That's a movement. Okay, that's a movement. I can understand that. Why does they're doing it with fetishes now? Why does every fetish in the world need a flag now? This is nationalism.
Where's my GIF flag?
That's probably a furry flag, Sarah. There's probably an otherkin flag. I'm pretty sure. It's probably a Caporn flag at this point. But yeah, what? A flag for sexual orientation? A flag for a medical condition? Where's the I have broken legs flag? Where's the I have cancer flag? Do we make different flags for different types of cancer? And what is the rainbow flag then? Is that actually not about sexual orientation, but is it the AIDS flag?
It's supposed to be the all-inclusive flag. It's actually not just sexual orientation. It's the whole spectrum of like everything. They're like, oh, it's just for gay men, you know. So the gay men use the rainbow flag, and everyone else wanted to be more special because there is no gay man flag. There's lesbian flag. There's trans flags, non-binary flag. There's bisexual flag, but no gay man flag.
Yeah. So this whole text here is bullshit, by the way. So let's look first at cisgender. Adjective. Describe so normal person. Describes a person whose gender identity matches or aligns with the gender he or she was assigned at birth. Like I already explained that this is already bullshit. Because the sex is assessed at birth, not the gender, and nothing is assigned. Things are assessed. Medicine assesses things. It does not assign things. Medicine does not assign your medical condition. It diagnoses it through assessment. When you go to a physiotherapist, your physiotherapist may ask you, or your osteopath, whatever you go to, could you stand in front of me? Okay, now can you turn around and just go a couple steps in that direction away from me, and turn around and come back. And you do that, and your physiotherapist will then look at you, watch you as you walk, and just by that will see where you are unbalanced, where you are askew, and thus will very quickly know which muscles are too cramped up, which are too loose, which ribs may have been pushed in or are sticking out, and that all can be corrected. And he is not assigning any of that to you. He is assessing you. Sarah?
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying that I need to head out now. I wanted to say bye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for lightening the mood.
Hey, yeah. All right.
Hooah.
What?
Sarah's gone.
Oh.
You sound tired. Maybe we should take a break at some point.
Yes, I am feeling very, very tired. It is past my bedtime.
Okay, let's finish this thing. This screen. And then continue this another day.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get through it quicker, and maybe we'll even meet this ominous Matt Walsh at some point.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah. So, next thing, transgender adjective describes a person whose gender identity does not match or align with the gender they. So it's not he or she anymore here already. Interesting detail. With cisgender, it's he or she. With transgender, it's already they, although that is about he or she, for fuck's sake. Where is signed at birth? It should also be was. But, see, this is they were. That's plural. So term can be abbreviated to trans. Thing is, it's not like anyone else can claim this as well, because this is about this says gender assigned at birth. So I don't like that. Yeah, that can be the non-binary just as well. That fits that just as well. Or anyone else just being confused. Being confused doesn't make you trans. This is a fucking physiological issue. And more correct would be for this stuff that the gender identity when I speak like that, I make quotation marks, does not match or align with the sex he or she was assessed with at birth.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question would, and then what you change due to the gender dysphoria, there needs to be a reason. Like this here is completely leaving out gender dysphoria. They need a reason to transition, and they transition to sex, not the gender. The gender stays the same. Then we go to non-binary, adjective. Complete bullshit. Describes a person whose gender identity does not fit into the traditional binary of man or woman. This is nothing. This is just people who don't know who they are, who never matured, who want to feel special, who have nothing special about themselves. I have met a lot of these people, and they are solely cluster B disorder vapid people. Term can be abbreviated to, and this I hate the most, NB. Like, why is it not N and B? Why do you have to add these vowels to it? So it's not even an abbreviation in the classical sense. No, you put other stuff around and just make this bullshit, this hipster crap out of it. And what you see here is the transition, pun not intended, from normal over exploiting a medical condition to making up a fictional condition that does not even exist, that is scientifically not proven. There are just tons of people who claim to be that thing, but that does not prove that the thing exists. That does not prove that the thing is real. That just proves that there are a lot of people who claim to be that. But that does not mean that they are that. And real science seeks to distinguish whether that is even a real thing and whether the people who claim to be it are it. Is that a good point to take a break from the stream?
I would say so. You actually covered it very, very well. Better than I ever could, actually.
Thank you. I hope the tired out audience thinks the same.
I believe they will.
All right. Was there some fun messages in the chat? Exhumed Legume said, gender assigned at birth gives me a mental image of a doctor arbitrarily attaching one set of genitals or the other on the newborn. Yes, that's what it sounds like. A not friend anymore, I guess. Like over a decade ago, at Arts University, did a project, arts project, like a little cartoon, where they actually did that. You had these non-distinct people, and then they got all the genitals on a conveyor belt and randomly attached them to people. And I found it like, what the hell is that? Why did you even make that? Like, someone found it and found it an interesting idea. Like, okay, I find it stupid. Oh yeah, that's with people who don't know themselves. They rather fall to take that stuff seriously. But I lack the words at this hour to really put it into words. It's something to talk about at some point, probably. And people on the stream can see in the bottom left corner what time it is actually here. So please cut me some slack. No, actually don't. Just if I make any mistakes on anything, write it in the comments. Okay. Thank you, Accent Zero. And everyone else who watched and liked and yeah, please comment. And yeah, I will put that Orwell reading public soon. And as well mention there that Sorry about the coughing and stuff, but I'm not gonna re-record that anytime soon. Yeah. As bad as I am with beginnings, I am with endings. So thanks for the 8 likes we got. Wow, that's amazing. That means at least 8 people watch this. Okay.
I see 10 on my side.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's the 9th now in the YouTube thing. The YouTube thing is really slow. Like, I see the chat messages in the docket earlier than I do see it in the actual YouTube chat. It's so weird.
That's kind of like StreamYards. I see the chat before it shows up on YouTube.
YouTube, you're strange. You're really, really strange. But that's all right so far until you censor us. Good night, everyone. Or good day whenever you watch it. And see you at the latest next week, I hope. And
I'm a shoot for next week to help you on this as well.
Yeah, so either we'll continue this or we finish up the Bad Therapy stream, because we may just need one more go at this. I just need a clearer head for that than I need for this nonsense here.
Mm-hmm. I just want to get to the Matt Walsh part.
Yeah, it's probably interesting. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like to finish stuff, like the Sisyphus experience.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Finally, end of stream. Good night, everyone. Or good day.
Good night.
Good caffeine. Good time. Drink tea.